Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Results Roundtable podcast. I'm joined today with Tommy French from Tommy French Competitions. We're going to dive into the world of the competition, psychology of what it is to like win a prize, what it is to get, what it is to like sort of feel like you might win a prize.
Yeah.
Because I am so bad for that. Every time I enter a competition, I have it in my head. I'm taking the money. I'm doing this with it. Do 20 grand.
Spent already.
20 grand for this, 20 grand for that, 10 grand to that person, 20 grand investments. It's like some fun money for a holiday. I have it all broken down every single time. Same with the lotto. Every time I enter the lotto, I'm convinced I'm going to win.
Yeah. Have you ever won anything? Have you ever won a competition?
Never.
No.
My woman has, my partner.
Right.
She actually won £600 off your competition.
And what did you do with it? Did you get any?
Nah, it was before Christmas, so she said it just went in presents. so she wasn't even happy about it because she said like when she finally got the win, it was right before Christmas, so she goes to spend it on other people.
It was gone straight away.
It was gone on other people. Tommy, so you come from a bookmakers family.
Yeah.
Let me get this right. I asked my uncle this, so if I get this right, your father is also called Tommy?
Father's also called Tommy, yeah.
And then the bookmakers goes back like 3 generations. So there was his father, and then was his father again called Tommy?
His father again. So my great... I'm probably going to get fact checked on the exact year, but I think it's 1933 that my great grandfather, who was called Tommy, set up the bookies in Lurgan, and yeah, it's been going now. You know, my granddad Jim, he took it over. Then my dad, and dad still runs it today. And then you started the competition page. So I started. Dad and I are partners in the competition page. Obviously, the branding is all completely the same.
Yeah.
And it's a funny thing because people that I meet that, you know, obviously I lived down in Dublin for a couple of years, so I have a lot of friends down there, and they're like, where did you get the name? Did you just go ahead and name the site after yourself? Like, you know, because it's a strange name. It's like, why did you not call it winners competitions or something like that? And then you try and explain it's not named after me. It's named after the brand, which has been around a long time. So
yeah, because whenever it started, it was local to Lurgan, wasn't it?
It was, and like even now we still have our, you know, sort of core nucleus of customers are from Lurgan, Craigavon, Portadown. Pretty much the locations where the bookmakers are. Yeah. That's how it evolved. But we still have a lot of Lurgan winners coming through. Like our core nucleus of customers is still this general area. Yeah,
because like I've never seen another competition page where I know so many people who's won.
Yeah,
and it's nice to see because like when you think about stuff like that all the time, like raffles and stuff, you always hear the word like fix.
Yeah,
fix. But it's whenever you started, I did hear like so many names that I know.
I know,
and even family. Like my cousin Stacey has won it like 3 times. Another family members won it. My partners won it, and then like loads of other people that I obviously live in Portadown, so I don't know that many people in Lurgan, but my family's from Lurgan, and like I still know loads of people as won it.
It's funny you say that, like, and I think a big thing for us at the beginning was word of mouth. Because you just knew, you know, you knew that person had won it and somebody else, and that's how it kind of grew, you know. And I can't remember what they won, but with somebody recently, I think it was a cash prize maybe or something like that. No, actually, I think it might have been the guy who won the Range Rover, but I'm not 100% sure. But whoever it was said to me, just in my street alone, there's been like 3 or 4 people who have won. I think there was a 20 grand winner, maybe a 5 grand winner, and a couple other smaller winners.
The streets all got nice cars now.
The streets kitted out at this stage. But I just thought that was class. Like, you know, what are the chances of that happening? It's unbelievable.
It's mad because like even the guy who works for me also works in a shop, and he says like one of the girls that works with him, between her and the partner, they have both won like over 40 grand between competitions over the past like 3 years, and it's all like maybe like 3 grand here, 6 grand there, you know, 10 grand here, and they've won like you know, between the two of them, like ours, you set up for a good life.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's the sort of the key difference between us and like say the lottery or something else is it actually feels attainable because you know people have won it and you know you see people winning it, and even just like, you know, it's you've your big showpiece prizes, but you see people winning small prizes all the time, and the small prizes are nice to win as well. Like obviously your wife winning 600 quid, it comes in handy at a time before Christmas.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. She was over the moon about it.
Yeah.
She had it was a couple of years ago, so she just sent the photo.
Yeah.
for the Facebook page or something.
Everybody hates doing that, but
I know, but here,
it's the best way for us to grow. It's social proof.
It's marketing. You have to do it.
Yeah, you have to do it.
People hear competitions and think just online raffles. So what actually is the business?
Geez, well, like, I mean, it's evolved so much over, like, so this started in 2021. I was in uni at the time. So I was living down in Dublin. We're just coming out of that kind of COVID era. A lot of competitions had sort of started, just right at the beginning of COVID. That was, I would say, the peak time, to get in, because everybody was at home. They all had their sort of furlough payments and everything coming in, and they entered these competitions. They didn't have much to be doing because they're sitting in the house.
Yeah.
We just got in at the tail end of that. I think it was a very good time to get in. If you could get in around that time, it was, growth was a lot easier than it would be now. But we started off, like, I think our first prize, Martin, was like 300 quid.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then maybe like hot tubs and coffee machines and, maybe trips to the Galgorm. And we still do those prizes today.
Yeah.
But it started off at that kind of level, and we just thought it's a good way to get the brand, the sort of Tommy French brand, online. And we just gave it a shot, and it grew gradually from there, and we had a decent buy-in from existing customers in the bookies, and just sort of the wider Lurgan, Craigavon, Portadown community seemed to enjoy it. So,
were you nervous about starting?
100%, because like it was the first business that I ever started, and you're always sort of thinking in the back of your head, what if this goes wrong and you look stupid and all these sort of things that you look back and say, well, sure, why would you care?
Why would you care?
At the end of the day. But yeah, no, I'd say I definitely was nervous, and even the first time you were doing like a big draw, like back then a big draw would have been 1,000 quid.
Yeah.
And you're doing the live draw, you were nervous for those sort of things and making sure you did everything right. And
were you nervous about like what if the tickets don't sell?
Yeah, still am. Still am all the time. It's the story of my life now. But that's just part and parcel of the game. You win some and you lose some, and hopefully you get more winners than losers, and that's the aim. But it's not every draw goes well. You take risks and you do draw. Especially nowadays, then the industry's become so big, and like everybody's really pushing the dial in terms of the types of prizes that they're doing. Used to be a few years ago a 10 grand prize or a 20 grand prize was a rare occurrence, but sure, there's sites doing those prizes every single day now. So
100%. Even the cost of living now, 10 grand's not a lot anymore.
It's not a lot of money. It goes very quickly.
It does. Like
yeah.
Like I would say 90% of the population, if they got 10 grand, it would just sort of, they wouldn't change your life.
Oh no, 100%.
It would pay off a few bills, maybe pay off a credit card, or
it takes the stress off for a while.
It's a stress reliever.
But things have got so tight, and even now Donald's putting us in a bit of a tricky position at the minute with the price of fuel. So
price of fuel, I know it's mental. It was a 180 or something at the pump.
Unbelievable. And like, I mean, obviously for us, it's something then that we kind of react to and go, right, let's start doing raffles, related to that stuff, because that's what people want.
Full tank of fuel.
Yeah, full tank of fuel.
That's the raffle everybody needs right now.
Yeah.
Is there any misconceptions about running the competition business, or is there any misconceptions about the industry people would have, or you would get asked?
Yeah, I mean, loads. Like, I think a big thing is and people probably talking about it, is you see the same faces a lot that win.
Yeah.
And it's just part and parcel of it. It's the same with all competition brands. Probably doesn't happen as much in some of the bigger guys because they've got such a massive database of customers.
Yeah.
But like even at the start, like we had people who were winning like 3 nights in a row, but it's because they won a prize and then they bought more tickets and they went in a bit of a roll. And over time that it's not as much of a thing because we have a lot of people entering now.
Yeah.
But I think that is a misconception, that sure, he won last week or she won last week and they win again, but that's just the nature of it.
But then people are always in for multiple tickets.
They're always in, and I always said if you aren't in, you can't win. But it is true. It's cliche, but it actually is true. And often what happens is people get their first win and more wins follow after it. So I think, again, it's one of the key differences. Like the competition industry isn't the lottery. You don't have millions and millions of people entering. You don't have millions and millions of tickets or whatever. Like some of our prizes still have less than 1,000 tickets.
Yeah. Because like even the lottery too, like there might be millions and millions of people in for it, but it doesn't mean one of those millions is going to win either.
Exactly.
Because they have the right numbers.
Yeah, well that's it. That's it.
But
Yeah.
like you hear their rollovers happening for weeks and weeks and weeks until
Yeah,
it gets to like
yeah.
until it gets to dangerous money.
I know.
You're like,
That's
you're
when
like,
everyone piles in.
It's like I would end
Yeah.
my life would probably be over without that amount of money. I would do something stupid. What's the difference between a competition business and a traditional bookmaker? Like they're both. Would you class competitions as another form of gambling? Because I wouldn't call myself a gambler, but I do competitions.
No, I think it's like I think that the sort of the customer that it attracts, it's completely different between the two businesses.
Yeah.
Like you just said, you wouldn't class yourself as a gambler, and I 100% agree. I think the competition industry attracts people who just want to take a punt and win a prize.
Take a punt. Yeah.
You know, and we will get people who buy one ticket and never come back again. Or maybe there's just a big prize that they fancy, or even a small prize, whether it be a holiday to somewhere, or a tech product or whatever, that they see it on Facebook, they go in, might only be 30 or 40p for a ticket, to buy it, and that's it. You never see them again. And then you've your more loyal customer base who really do enjoy it and they play more. But I would say, two distinctly different types of customers, I think is the key difference.
It's good to hear you say that, because I've started to actually tell myself that it is my form of gambling. But in saying that, I don't spend big money on them. Like I'll do a couple of tickets here and there over the month.
Yeah.
Although the M4, I do have 45 tickets for it. So
keep my fingers crossed for you.
I am waiting.
You say they'll be saying it's fixed now if you win it.
That's what I'm going to say. Well, the guys next door, whenever they heard you were coming on, one of them said to me about the M4, and I told him I had tickets for it.
Yeah.
And he goes to me, "You're going to win now." And that's actually something that I said. The only time I win a competition is the one time it's going to look dodgy. I was like, and if that is my luck, I am taking it.
You'll take it.
I'm taking it.
Drive off in the M4. What would you take, the car or the cash?
Mate, it's a tricky one, right? Because we're saving for a house at the moment, and it would do well for the house.
Yeah.
But it would also look nice outside the house.
It would look nice outside
that we're going to buy.
Yeah. See, I wasn't too sure about the sort of green colour, whether it would be a crowd splitter or not, but I think it looks class.
I like green.
Yeah, you like green. It'll go well in here.
Go well in here. Well parked outside. No, it's a difficult one, because if we already had the house, I would definitely take the car.
Yeah.
But as much as I would love to make a decision on my own, I think I would have to talk to her about it.
Yeah. Well, you could take it and drive it for a lot of months and then sell it.
And sell it on. Probably do that.
Yeah.
Why are competitions blowing up right now? They are becoming a massive industry, and I'm seeing more and more popping up. I don't know if you follow the guy. Do you follow the guy Donkey?
No.
He's a real farmer,
right.
One of them real culty accents, real thick, hard accents. And he just made content on TikTok and stuff, and you'll watch him because you'll laugh at him and the stupid stuff he does. But he's now got donkey competitions.
Right.
To do the same one the odd day doing tractors. So at the end, there was a guy. Remember your Frostbit boy?
Yeah.
Rory.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think I went anywhere, but he had the King Rory competitions.
I remember seeing that a while back, a number of months ago.
So they are becoming really popular, with more and more popping up.
Yeah. No, I think the big thing, and just funny you saying that about culties, but you see people raffling heifers and tractors and everything.
I've seen those actually,
which we haven't raffled a heifer yet, but maybe next couple of months we might do.
Different demographic.
Yeah. But no, I think it's probably, and again, you come back to the distinguishing a traditional sort of gambling business, whether it be online or bricks and mortar, or a competition business. The barrier to entry is probably a lot less for the competition business. I think why you see so many popping up and sort of maybe closing after a number of months is, from the outside looking in, it probably looks a lot easier to run than it is.
Yeah.
In terms of, sure, you fire up a cash prize and you sell a load of tickets and you take your profit and that's it. But yourself, you've ran an online clothing company, all the costs and everything that goes into it that people don't see.
No, because say you do a ticket for £1, you don't get the £1.
No, well that's it. Yeah. By the time you pay everyone else, you're left with a small percentage of that £1. So,
but it's not even that. But people don't realise, because I do realise, because I obviously run businesses and we take card payments. But if you'll lose your 20p plus 1.9% or something.
Yeah.
Depending on the card that someone using.
100%. So, and that's the thing. So I think low barrier to entry is probably why there's so many popping up. But at the same time, there's probably a lot that get into it and realize, okay, there's quite a lot that actually goes into this.
Yeah.
And the marketing, the content production, everything, and it's remaining competitive as well. in an environment where you have so much competition, you know.
What about the tax on prices then? So like obviously every price says tax free.
Yeah.
So like you obviously pay the tax.
No, it's gambling is tax free. So in the States, if you win the lottery, you sometimes see like the $1 billion Powerballs or whatever it is in California, they pay 50% tax or whatever it is on that.
Like half it goes back to the government.
Yeah, but UK, not the case. So there's no tax that has to be paid by the customer. On whatever the prize is, they get 100% of that prize.
I actually didn't know it. I always assumed you paid the tax.
No. There's no tax on the win.
Happy days.
So it's good for them and it's good for us as well because if you're advertising a prize, like I mean, I suppose if you want $1 billion in California, you'd be happy enough if you have to pay 50% tax. But,
I wouldn't be. You know what? I wouldn't be complaining about it because if I seen $1 billion land in my bank and the next day the IRS taking half of it,
yeah, you'd be raging. But
I will be raging. I'll obviously be happy, but I'll still be raging.
Exactly. No, but whatever somebody sees at, we advertise 100% of that prize will end up in their account if they win it. So
that's obviously a misconception that I always had.
Yeah.
I always thought the tax free meant that they use paid tax on top of it.
No.
Like, on behalf of the customer.
No, it's a tax free win for them.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Nobody likes tax.
No.
How do you pick the prizes?
With great difficulty. Again, it comes back to that point, like, at the beginning, there wasn't too many other competition sites out there. Nobody was really doing prizes at the level that they're doing them now, and it was very easy to innovate. But over time, that's become much more difficult. So, it's we kind of know what works and what doesn't work, and we've tried a lot of things over the last 5 years. So you've kind of got a blueprint in terms of what we should do. And then one of the really important things is just keeping up to date with what's trending at the minute. Like even we did just simple things. Like we did a Sephora voucher there. Remember there was the whole thing, the shop opened in Belfast and it was queued out the gate, and a lot of sort of creators and everyone else were involved in the promotion of it. So latching on to those trends and trying to think ahead of time to see what is going to be popular in the next few weeks. But there's a lot of planning goes into it, and there's a lot of data that goes behind it as well to tell us, right, this is the type of prize you should do. This is the amount of instant prizes that should be in it. This is the price point. This is how many tickets. And so it's all very data led. The business has evolved into that massively over the last 6 months because I've built the team out a bit in terms in comparison to what it was last year or the year before.
Yeah.
So it's now less reliant on just everything stuck in my head, and there's a bit more data and documentation that goes into it now.
Are you happier that is being run like a more business with like more sort of moving parts and steps, or do you miss the early days when it was just you going, I'm gonna raffle that?
I have to say the early days were great. Like we so at the beginning, and like I have to give credit to Dad because it was actually his idea.
Oh really?
So he called me into the kitchen one night and he said, I think he saw maybe one of the other big firms were running a site, and he came across it and he said, do you fancy taking a punt at this? And I was game for it. I thought it was a good idea. So yeah, like I think that what's happened over time is just the amount of other sites that have popped up. It's becoming a much different landscape than it was a number of years ago. I think a number of years ago there was the fun side.
Yeah.
Because you knew most of the people winning. It was a very small team. We had like Gary and Chris, two guys that work in the boogies. They and they still are part of it today. But it was just really us four at the start, and it was a lot of crack. Like it was great crack, and you didn't have the massive liability prizes that we have nowadays.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm happy that it's evolved into what it has today. But you sometimes do look back and say, oh, it was a bit less stressful.
It was easier.
Yeah.
It's one thing I've noticed, like the thing is on, like even like hiring, even the stupid part of like hiring somebody. I find as like my business has evolved over the 5 years, I just get more and more jobs to do.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. But I think like and that's I think you and Chris Suter were talking about it on the podcast you did with him in terms of like relinquishing that responsibility. That as a founder, it's very hard to relinquish because in your head you're thinking nobody can do it as good as I can.
Yeah.
And the reality is, if somebody can do it 80% as well, then get rid of that task if it's taking time away from what you should really be focusing on. And that's something that I've struggled with, but something that I am starting to come to grips with, and if the business wants to evolve to where we want to take it to, it's something that needs to happen.
It needs more bodies.
It needs more bodies and it needs more expertise, because there's so much goes into it that I'm not an expert on, marketing and all these different things that are so important that I have a decent understanding of, but there's people who are better at it than I am. So just giving up that sort of handing over the reins a bit, which is a bit of a mindset shift, but something that yourself is key.
No, it is, and I hand over the reins to someone that can do something 80%. Like you said, it's better to have 10 people doing 80% than you trying to do 100% on your own.
100%. And like one of my good friends, he's business partner as well, recommended Owen Murphy. He recommended a book to me there at the start of the year, which I'd recommend if you haven't read it. Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time.
Right.
And like some of the theories and stuff that he has in there, and the importance that he places on the work that you should be doing in terms of like is most of your time spent doing admin tasks. So one of the sort of tasks or that's laid out in the book is sit down at your desk, whatever you work, 9 till whatever, and set a timer every 15 minutes and write down exactly what you've done in those 15 minutes. And I did it for about a week, and then I came to realize that I'm spending like 90% of my day doing admin tasks instead of doing the things that move the dial and grow the business.
Yeah.
And then it's about, okay, who can you take in to relieve yourself of all these tasks that aren't revenue generating tasks?
Not even admin tasks, but did you find, being brutally honest, there was a lot of time you spent bluffing?
Oh, like it's just the battle every day of you feel like you're working hard, but then when you actually sit down and you look at it and you write it out, you spend half your time just not focused. And like that's like, it's something that's really in the sort of the forefront of my mind this year. Is just focus, like and get efficiency, focus, and getting things done, because I can sit at the desk all day and I usually do, but in terms of what actually gets done, it's a completely different story.
No, I find that on here. Like, some days I come in here and you're here all day, and then you leave and you're like, I got nothing done today.
Yeah,
but I was here all day. So where did my time go?
Yeah. So would recommend that one. The unbelievable book, Buy Back Your Time, and it's sort of there's the whole sort of formulaic side of it in terms of, okay, like working out, if you're doing certain tasks, there's a formula in place in terms of if you can hire someone and pay them X amount per hour, and this is roughly what you make per hour. There's a formula to tell you need to do it, or actually no, it's too expensive to hire for that person, so don't do it.
I'll buy that book after the podcast, actually.
And it's an easy read as well. It's like a few hundred pages. It isn't one of those, some business books are like, you sort of read 2 chapters and then you're like, it's too much. It's a really easy read that, and you can pull things from it that you can actually implement.
I hate books where you get like 3 or 3 chapters in and you're going, get to the point. Like, teach me something.
Yeah. Well, that is, it's not even like, it's more like a manual, it's more like an instruction book than a novel or autobiography or whatever.
I read one that was like that was called Profit First.
Right.
You ever read that?
No.
It's quite good, and it's quite like a manual. So it's all about making your money work for you.
Yeah.
But again, like it's not a long book, and it is based like a manual. So it's about your money coming in and everything being dropped into percentages.
Right.
And then you can like fine tune the percentages. So, and then one thing it said, the whole point of the book was, you hear a lot of business owners are working and there's nothing left for them.
Yeah.
So the whole point of this is profit first, is like you get paid first.
Yeah.
So, but everything else has to be taken care of in percentages. So like say something stupid like stationery's costing you 3% last year. Why?
Exactly.
It should be 0.5%.
Yeah.
So you're overspending there, or it's stupid. That's a bad example, but it's stupid stuff where like you break it all down into like, what's your premises cost, what's your staffing cost, and if you get to the end and you cannot take any percentages off any of these, the only option is to raise your prices.
Yeah. 100%.
Because you literally are not making money.
Yeah.
But it's all about profit first. And one thing it actually told you to do was, it gives you like a bonus pot.
Right.
And it tells you to do it like in short spaces of time. So you obviously, your wages will come out and stuff, and then you'll have like your dividend is said, but it's like a bonus pot, and it might only be 0.5%, or it could be depending on the revenue, it could be 0.25%.
Yeah.
But it's all based off revenue. So every 3 months or every 6 months or every year, this bonus pot's building up.
Yeah.
And you get it
Right.
as a bonus. So it feels like you're
So
constantly
you're rewarding yourself essentially.
you're rewarding yourself for like sticking to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like a manual, and I thought it was very, very good. I would recommend reading it for anybody, even just if you're not in business, because it is very good at even breaking down your own finances.
Well, you always look at like the sort of top entrepreneurs, like even like Elon Musk, and how efficiently he runs his businesses.
Yeah.
And like when he bought Twitter, I thought, like, I don't know how much he cut the workforce by, but he just seems to do everything in such an efficient manner. And he looks at those, and like I'm definitely guilty of not paying close enough eye on the small percentages and the small costs that suddenly add up to big costs. But just keeping a close eye on those things from the get go.
Yeah, no, it's something I was very, very bad at, which is why I bought that book, and it did kind of enlighten me a bit to be like, right, I need to be paying attention to, because like numbers keep adding up.
Well, that's it.
So if you don't check them, the small ones keep adding.
Yeah,
you know.
As Dad said to me a long time ago, keep care of the pennies and the pounds will keep care of themselves.
That's
a good one.
It's an old wise man saying.
Yeah,
it is true though.
Yeah,
100%. Was it last Christmas you couldn't get a house? What's the year before?
No. So
I seen you advertise something about unable to get a house.
I was just a bit of promo.
Was it?
We did. So we did our first house.
So did I say that and then missed the house?
Well, no, we didn't do it. We did a villa. We did the villa in Spain.
All right, okay.
So that was the whole thing. It was couldn't get our hands on a house this Christmas, so we're doing a villa in Spain.
Doing a villa in Spain, right?
Yeah, that was the.
I seen the first part of it.
That was the
what
hook.
way is the houses working? So like, do you go to someone who's selling the house and say, if you can hold this for us for a month, we'll buy it off you, or do you actually have to buy the house?
Yeah. Unfortunately, you have to buy the house. But yeah, so we like up to this point we've done new builds.
Yeah.
So we haven't gone to sort of, people who are privately selling or whatever and buy houses like that. I think people like to move into a new build as well, and then they can put their own touch on it.
So what happens if someone takes the money? Are you stuck with a house?
Stuck with a house. So yeah, we've sold a couple of them and different things, but what have we done? We've done maybe 4 or 5 houses at this stage. I think 2 people have taken the property, which I was surprised. I thought everybody would have taken the house, because it just like it's a life-changing prize, and like I always look at it from the kind of long-term perspective. Like if it was me, you have a house sitting there, you have rental income every single month or whatever, and capital appreciation, then you can sell it in 10 years and it's worth a lot more than whatever the cash was that you got into your bank account instead.
Oh, 100%. I suppose it depends where you are in your life, because like I know I've seen ones before where a couple's one or two is like actively trying to buy a house, and you're one, you just go and spend your deposit and fund money because you don't need you got the house now. Like I said, me and the partner saving for a house at the moment, and we've entered a couple of competitions for houses here and there, and just because we entered competitions, it wasn't specifically like I want that house, because some of them are too far away, and be like, we'll just take the money to buy our house anyway. But there's 1 or 2 of them where you're like, it's close enough, would live in there.
Yeah, well that's it. I mean that's the the difficult part is finding the right location. Because not everybody wants to live in, like, a lot of our houses have obviously been in this area, and then you're kind of isolating customers from other places. But you've always got the cash alternative. So,
what you work with staging companies, or do you do all the stuff yourself? Because I've heard competition pages mention like staging companies for the houses.
Yeah, we have worked with staging companies. I think if I tried to furnish a house, I'd do a terrible job of it. So. I get somebody else in to do that.
I've been told I'm not allowed to. She has said that I can pick the TVs and stuff, but everything else she's picking.
But actually, the last house we did in South Lake Park, just opposite the Omniplex there in Craigavon, it wasn't finished yet, so I had to go in. I remember pulling up, and I think it was with, I can't remember the name of the guy. But he brought me into the office and he showed me all the different finishes. And I was thinking, like, I should have brought somebody here with me to pick these. But I picked the bathroom floors, the kitchen finishes, the handles and the doors, everything. But it actually turned out okay.
Turned out all right.
Yeah, wasn't too bad.
I think with the turnkey houses, the options they give you can't really mess.
You can't really go too badly wrong.
You can't go too badly wrong, because they are kept quite plain. I have one question here for you that someone told me whenever they found out you were coming on. In the early days, right, was there some guy that kept winning all the prizes? Not all of them, but like enough of them to be like, why do you keep winning?
Yeah.
Was he maxing out credit cards to win these prizes, or what happened? Do you remember? Well,
Uh,
number one, is that true? And number two, if it was true,
So, maxing out credit cards, no. I mean, like one thing you get with the competition space is like the rumor mill, which is absolutely off the charts and something that I never expected.
yeah,
Because I'd never ran a business before. But it's the power of social media now, where something's fired into a WhatsApp group and then it just completely, grows arms, a tail, two heads, and it just gets out of control. So yes, it goes back to the point of we've had people who have won loads of prizes and play every single week.
yeah,
And that's the game. That's the reality of it. Every competition site is the same. It was more prominent in the early days because
there was less people playing.
there was a lot less people playing. The prizes were a lot smaller. There were a lot less tickets involved.
Yeah.
Obviously now, in turn, like we're doing usually 3 prizes every single night of the week. It doesn't happen that much.
Doesn't have that much.
But at the beginning, there were guys who went on runs, and that's part of the game. Yeah.
No, because he was telling me he heard this story, and apparently the guy was doing it to like all the competition pages, where he was just maxing out credit cards to buy all the tickets.
So some of the things, like some of the rumors that you hear, are just like honest. Like you just ask, and like it'd be like I know some of the other side owners and stuff, and you're scratching your head going, where is this come from?
Where's it come from?
Yeah.
See, my luck would be if I spent £5 tickets, I wouldn't get nothing.
Yeah.
That would be my
Well, everyone
luck.
says that until they win the first prize, you know.
This podcast is proudly sponsored by Branded Merch. Do your t-shirts look like they came free with the meal deal? Are you sick of merch and uniforms that look cheap, logos that peel, and tees that shrink after one wash? So are we. At Branded, we make merch that your team will actually want to wear. Whether it's uniforms, event gear, your own brand drops, or community merch, we've got you covered. We use premium blanks, proper printed embroidery, and we're upfront and honest about what works, what doesn't, and most importantly, what looks and feels great. No minimums, quick turnaround, and yeah, we actually care about the end product. If you're listening to this and thinking my team could do with some better threads, visit brandedlimited.co and let's make it happen. That's brandedltd.co. And as a listener to this podcast, first time customers can get 10% off with code roundtable10 at checkout. Let me see here. So moving into a bit of psychology, right? So why do people love competition so much? Is it about the prize or the feeling of possibly winning something? Because for me, I do want the prize, but see I run up in my head, I've got it.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I'd be like. I entered competitions and stuff as well, and play the lottery and all those different things. And like it's like you said earlier, you always have that feeling in the back of your head that I'm going to win it. And you're sort of planning, what am I going to do with this money? And it's strange. And then you don't win it, and then the next competition pops up, and the same feeling comes back. This is the one that I'm going to win. And I don't know what it's human psychology. I'm sure there's a lot more that goes into it, but. I honestly don't know the reason behind it, but I think people just love that winning feeling. Like I still do a lot of the live draws and see when you ring somebody and they haven't been watching it live, like some of the reactions are class.
That was my next question for you. Has giving prizes for a living changed how you see people in the world?
100%. Like it's you get such a range of reactions, right? So you get the people that are absolutely ecstatic, which makes your night or your week, because it's such a good feeling that you've made somebody, whether that be a small prize or a big prize, you've made an impact in their life. And people always thank you a lot for it, and I always say there's nothing to thank for it because you've bought the ticket. It's nothing to do with me. You've bought the ticket and you've entered. But then you also get people who are like, and they've won something big, and you say, oh, you've just won $5,000 or $10,000. And they're like, oh, great. How do I get the money? And like, they're entitled to do that as well, but sometimes I'm always thinking to myself, if that was me, I'd be,
like you ungrateful bastard. that was actually that's another question on my sheet for you. So you just got that. Have you ever give a prize? Like, do you remember one prize where someone's won it? Don't name names, obviously, but you're like, you ungrateful bastard. I do not want to give you this just because of your reaction.
Loads. But like some of the best reactions that I've got are small prizes.
Small prizes,
and just. Whether it be people are getting it tight at a certain time of the month, or it's coming up to Christmas or whatever it is, and a 500 quid or 700 quid win is just taking the edge off a bit, and the reaction that we get from those is great as well. So there's two sides to it, and then some of the reactions are quite funny because you get a little cursing down the phone.
Yeah.
But there's been some good ones.
Do you use your live broadcast then?
Yeah.
Well, you're allowed to curse on Facebook and stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I assume so because the videos haven't got taken down, but plenty of cursors over the years. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the biggest prize you've ever given? You've done houses. Are they all a quarter million?
The biggest prize we've ever done was the villa in Spain there in January. Now the winner took the cash, which was $250,000 instead. So that's the biggest value prize we've done. I think the biggest like cash only prize is $200,000.
Yeah.
So those are just like off the charts.
Who sends the money?
I send them the money, and like you're even nervous sending that amount of money.
I was about to ask.
God Almighty, but what we've started doing,
there's a pound. Let me know you've got it.
There's a pound. Let me know you've got it. You send it to the wrong person. So we started when we bring the winners in. Like we did a lady called Marta won the villa.
Yeah.
In Jan, she was from Portadown. And she took the cash. She decided straight away didn't want anything to do with the villa. Took the cash, and we brought her in, and we did the whole video and interview and all that sort of stuff. And then I got the laptop out and I sent the money to her live. So she refreshed her phone, and the cash was in the bank. So, and her reaction to that was class.
Unreal.
But no, you are nervous when you're sending that amount. You're going to.
I would say so because like one digit wrong.
Yeah.
Have you ever sent the money to the wrong account?
Oh yeah, no, loads of times.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I've sent some that sent people too much or sent the wrong person, or because you're doing like now there's a lot more automation involved, but at the beginning you're just doing bank transfers, and then you had so many to do every single night of the week, and your eyes are like on the screen. There's all these digits, and you click the wrong person. Like I've done it loads, which is a pain. Then you have to get money back off them. You send it to the wrong person, but
like, what happens? You send money to the wrong person. Like, what if they say no?
I don't know. Well, luckily no one's done it yet. So
happy days.
Yeah, I don't know, but luckily no one's. But nothing crazy. I'm talking like small prizes, You're
not sending somebody a $250,000.
No, I'm extra careful. Once it gets over a certain amount, you have to be extra careful.
Because I'll be honest, if you sent me a $250,000, you wouldn't see me again.
You disappear.
I disappear. I'll probably be back in about 10 years broke anyway. Have you ever given a prize that you wanted to keep for yourself?
The Range Rover, that we did there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
The M4 will probably be the same. But no, like I mean, like a lot of our competitions are like very cash heavy. Like we do a lot of cash, and there's other sites that would probably focus more on cars, or like you mentioned some of the farming related sites and stuff. But no, for us mostly cash, so it's easy to give away. But recently now we've started to get more into cars, and like I was enjoying driving the Range Rover there for a few weeks, so that was a tough one to let 100%. Go of. Yeah.
What about watches? You see, because I see all the stuff online about Rolexes. Apparently, you can't buy Rolexes. You go into a dealership and they tell you, you go into a dealer and they tell you, oh, we have them here, but not for sale.
Yeah.
So like, how's all these competition pages? If that's true, how's all the competition pages doing like 10 Rolexes a month? Can you just buy them?
No, so that is true. You can now. Well, like to be fair, I'm not an expert on this, but I'll tell you what I know is that there is a massive waiting list for Rolexes, and obviously higher end watches even more so. So you can't buy them brand new unless you're on the waiting list. I'd say Rolex also don't look favourably on somebody on the waiting list getting a brand new Rolex and then raffling it. So most of the watches and all of the watches that we've done are bought on the used market. And I'd say that's the case for most sites.
For most of them, that's how they get them, because I always see these videos about like you not being able to buy them.
Yeah, no, it is. It is like the waiting list is very difficult to get on. Like I haven't attempted it. Like anything we've raffled has been used. Yeah.
Sure, it's a watch. Like it's not hardly it's gonna.
Yeah, well that's it. It does and some of them, like the benefit obviously of getting on the waiting list is you get some of them cheaper than they're retailing for. So
I guess some of them actually up in value.
Some of the high end Rolexes.
Have you ever given a prize and someone said it's broke? Like like TV or like air fryer or something? I don't. It's a stupid question, but it just popped into my head.
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. No. Thank God, no. But yeah, like a lot, like you'd be surprised, Martin. Like see the amount of people that take the cash just every single time.
All the time.
So like if we're raffling a TV or whatever, people always want the cash.
You said about 30 TVs, are you?
Yeah. No, well, we used to be sitting with some stock, but sort of learned to manage that over time. And now I'll wait and see what somebody wants before I go and order a TV from Curry's. But I would say 90% of the prizes that we do that are non-cash prizes, people take the cash alternative, whether it be a holiday, whether it be a tech product or whatever.
I actually wouldn't have thought that. I would have thought them big ones were for I say like the car, for example.
Yeah.
I would have thought they would have been like split down the middle.
Yeah, no, well, like the car, like that the Range Rover was the first car we ever gave to anyone. No one had taken a car off us up until that point. So
you just sell them on again?
Yeah.
That's extra work.
Extra work, and I was surprised at it. But it's just the way I think people want the instant gratification of going bang, there's money straight in your bank account.
Yeah.
Because it's great driving a car, and it's brilliant to change up and get into something nice or whatever it is, but that wears off after a week.
Wears off after a week, and there's some ones I've went for, and the car's worth about, say the car's worth like 80 grand or something. I'm sitting there going, do I want to afford to run that?
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
It's the insurance, and you have the tax car, insure the car, and all those different things that people probably don't think about.
Yeah.
And then when it's laid out to them, to say, you know what, I just want the cash in my bank, and go from there.
Do you have to do the lottery? Well, they're giving like hundreds of millions. The way like they'll give, I think they do. If you go anonymous, you don't get no help. But if you come out public, they'll give you like financial advisors and help and coach how to do the money.
Yeah.
Do you do any of that for big prizes?
No, we don't. No, it's it's probably something that I've thought about. But I just don't think we're at the stage where there's been a few like big prizes that we've done. Obviously, the lottery is a completely different kettle of fish.
No, like you wouldn't do it for 10 grand, but say the ones that win like $250,000.
Yeah. No, like we don't offer that service. It's something that I definitely advise to people and have advised to people is, especially for a win, like a 250 grand win, or like really anything, once you start getting into 5 figures, it can make a real impact if you manage that money properly and if you do something sensible with it, or you can just go and blow it. So like I have advised people to seek that advice. Because, if you win 50 grand or 100 grand, the difference that can make to your life in the long run, if you spend it or invest it wisely, is massive. Like
you put it in the S&P 500 or something, and you're getting an average of 10% a year.
Yeah, there you go.
Like $250,000 is 25 grand a year for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And it's as Charlie Munger said, the first 100 grand is the hardest to come upon, and once you have that and stick it in the S&P, the compound effect is unbelievable. So I understand where your question's coming from, and I think it's something that people should, if you're winning big money on a prize competition side, it's something you should definitely think about.
You definitely should, because I was always bad with money.
Yeah,
always bad with money. Now, not like I was just bad at managing because I just spent it. I was a problem. I never really worried about the future. Where the past couple of years, I've got the business to where it is now. We have no debt with the business. Every machine we have is paid off. I've personally started investing about 2 years ago, and just reading books and sort of trying to upskill myself. And one thing for me upskill myself into like the investing world and sort of proper like money management is, why the fuck didn't I start this 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Because
100%.
I have like on my Trading 212 app where I invest, I have like a pay, and then you put in like your weekly amount, what you're going to invest, and it just automates everything for you. But it has
just pulls it straight out of your account.
It has that graph of projection.
Yeah.
And when you put in like, I want to keep this pay going for 30 years, and it just goes like that.
Yeah.
And the amount you're investing hasn't changed, but compound interest just makes that scale.
Exponential growth, 100%.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Like I'm the same. Like I didn't, and you just don't think about it.
No.
But even last couple of years, I really have started to think about that. Trading 212 as well. Give a shout out there,
give
because
shout
it's
out.
dead handy. Comes out of your account, you don't think about it. It's gone, and then you can't touch it. No. So
if you want to sponsor the podcast, by the way, Trading 212, get involved. Do you struggle with the ethical side of the industry? Because it is people, like, nothing bad against you, because I don't mean it bad, but like if I buy a product, I'm getting the product. Where user selling the chance,
I think like the customer base is educated enough to know that you're not guaranteed to win.
Yeah.
It's the same as the lottery. There's no guarantee that you can win. You know, we limit the amount of tickets and stuff that people can buy.
I have seen that actually, yeah.
And all that sort of stuff. So, like, you know, it's, I think, and it comes back to the question you asked about, you know, the type of people that enter. I think it's just people that want to win something. And it's just something that they fancy. You know, it's a completely different mindset. Like, you know, most of our customers are probably actually women. And it's something that you wouldn't see in traditional boogies, probably mostly dominated by men. So it's just a different type of person, and they just fancy a punt at something. And if they win, brilliant, and it's exciting for them. And if they don't, that's the nature of the game.
Yeah.
You know, not if everybody won, we wouldn't be in business. So
No,
that's the reality of it.
definitely not. You mentioned before about you saying it like it's different than gambling. So do you see yourself in competition with traditional bookmakers, or do you see yourself as kind of like an up and coming industry to complement it or go side by side?
Yeah, I think it complements it in some ways. I think probably the straight answer to that question is they're two different industries.
Yeah.
Most definitely, and like obviously we can see that firsthand because we're in both games. So, two different customers. Yeah.
I guess because like I don't go in the bookies, but I will do competitions.
Yeah.
So like it's given me a chance to win where I wouldn't take a chance the other way.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, for bookmakers, for me, there's just too much knowledge needed in sport, and I haven't the time to follow that all.
But then, you know, as well, it's like, you know, people who are into their sports, and whether it be football, and they go in and do their accumulator on a Saturday. Yeah. You know, it adds a bit of excitement to going and then watching the match, or going out with the lads, going to the pub and watching the Premier League, and you've done a bet, and you know, it just adds that bit of excitement. So it's not like, obviously you have people who are clued in terms of like look at form and all those different things, but you know, there's a lot of guys who just go into boogies on Saturday and have a bit of fun and place a bet. And
I like the Grand National comes on, and you hear people talking about like the riders and the trainers and this and that. Yeah. I'm like he's got a funny name. Give me that one.
Well, like you know, for anyone that hasn't been in a boogies on a Grand National Day, and it's obviously it's fast approaching here. I'd say go in and like see the atmosphere in the boogies on Grand National Day. It's unbelievable. And like it's I think it's such an underrated sport and spectacle.
Yeah.
Like you 50 horses going at it, high big jumps, and like just the excitement of picking a horse. And as you say, like even for me, like I don't massively follow horse racing, don't have a clue. But I'll be the same as you. I'll, you know, say I like the name on that, or I like the look of that, or whatever, and go for it. And it's just like it's very, very exciting. Like I'm sure a lot of people have been to the races and heard the actual atmosphere at the event, but in the boogies it's the same.
It's the same.
Everybody's cheering and roaring for their horse to win. So it's exciting.
It does add more excitement because like if I wasn't placing a bet in the Grand National, I wouldn't watch it.
Yeah.
I actually wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's the same, like even sometimes UFC or something was on, and I do like a bet on UFC like the odd time I've been watching it, and it does make, or boxing even, and it does make
makes it a bit more exciting.
Yeah.
You know, there's stakes involved, so
stakes in the game.
You know, and 100%. Like even like there's so many markets now where you can do corners and you know, shots on target and all these different things in football. Like
you can bet on anything now.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been to the websites, but I see like on TikTok or something the odd time. And like, people's betting on like the presidential thing, or people, or even the Super Bowl. Will there be a streaker?
It's a big thing in the States now.
Yeah.
I think it's Polymarket or something, isn't it? They're betting on all these different random outcomes and
of anything.
Of like the war in Iran and all these crazy things. But it's
it's great.
No, it's interesting.
Some of the things are crazy. Like, did I read it? This could be false, but I'm pretty sure it was. Well, I read something. It was either false that I read it, but I did read it. Like some guy had bet on a sport that there was going to be a streaker in it. There was going to be a streaker. Like at the match, and then he streaked.
That's a good way to get one.
And like I don't know if they give him the money or not. Like, surely you're playing the odds, or
I think I actually do remember hearing something about that, but I can't say for sure.
Or we did get the money to change the rules after that one. Terms and conditions updated. What about regulation then in your industry? So you talked about, obviously it's quite a new industry.
Yeah.
So is there any like regulations that are specific for like competition pages? Because you put like you mentioned about your maximum tickets there per person.
Yeah.
Is that a government standard, or is that just something that you guys do to manage risk?
No, it's just like it's a standard that as an industry we're starting to hold ourselves to.
Right.
You know, because like the industry still is very young. Like you know, bookmaking, the online gambling space has been around for a long time. So our industry is very young, but I would say that, you know, in terms of other sort of founders in the space, that we all are aware that you know, we want to preserve the longevity of the industry.
Yeah.
So it's something that we do, you know, we make an effort to make sure that we're doing the right things. Because at the end of the day, it's all about you know, people having a bit of fun and winning prizes, and you know, it's something that we want to continue. So we're trying to preserve that.
So because you're one of the first, then, like you talked about you and the other founders, would you say you feel a responsibility to build a good industry for everybody else coming after?
Yeah, I think everybody feels that responsibility, whether you've been here for a long time or a short time. Like there's guys who've been going a lot longer than us and are a lot bigger than us and are probably even more involved in those sort of processes. But yeah, like, you know, we want, you know, I want this to continue to grow. Like, obviously, in terms of from where we started to where we are now, the business is, you know, a lot more customers. We're doing a lot more prizes, but there's still massive opportunity for us to grow the business, you know, outside of, you know, here and into the UK and all that sort of stuff. So doing that in the right way is something that we'll strive to do, you know.
Right way is better.
Yeah.
Like you can take shortcuts with things, but they're never a shortcut because you end up going back to square one.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Moving into a bit of entrepreneurship then.
Yep.
So what's been the hardest part of scaling this business?
The hardest part of scaling this business, I would say that it has been, and like we touched on it, is, you know, buying back my time and handing things off to the right people. Like I've brought Rob in, who's sort of right hand man now, that is, you know, a lot more corporate experience in the sort of wider online gaming space than I do. And he's made a massive difference because, you know, he knows about the systems and processes that should be in place to allow us to scale. I've learned a lot, actually. Like the other business that I run with a good friend of mine, and it's a much less mature business, but it's growing.
It's in recruitment, yeah? Or
it's in sort of tech sales, training and recruitment. So like I was saying to you, I was away skiing last week, and I went with him, and that business didn't get affected by us being away, because from the beginning the right systems were put in place to make sure that when we step out of it, it still functions. You know, and I think for Tommy French competitions, it's been a longer process to get to that point, but we are starting. We're not there yet by any means, but we're starting to get to that stage. So that's something that I have struggled with, because I always think that, you know, I have the sort of Midas touch in terms of picking the right competitions to do, and just the different nuances that somebody else won't necessarily be able to do. But that's not true. There's definitely people out there who do a much better job than me. So
I guess it's hard as a business owner because you are tied very personally to the business.
Yeah.
Like you talked before about, like, what if it doesn't work and then failure? You know, it's one of the ones where I have to tell people I failed at this if it doesn't work.
Exactly.
And fair enough, nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You get talked about for a week and then forgot about it.
Well, that's it. And like that like even at the start, that was probably something that massively played my mind. But, you know, the reality is, and I think it was, do you listen to Alex Hormozy?
Yes.
Much? So I was listening to his 2026 podcast, like 7 hours long, but it's just pure gold. And he made the point, or it might have been when he was on with Tony Robbins, can't remember, but he made the point of, you know, like, what's the worst that can happen? Your business fails. And if it fails, you're not at the point that you were when you started the business, because you've taken all that knowledge out of it, you know, in terms of the process of running it. So, you know, if that happened, I'd be in a completely different place than it was before I started it. So I'm glad I did, you know, no matter what.
Well, it was like we were talking there before the podcast, like before Branded, the print and embroidery, the print and embroidery place that I have now, I had a clothing brand company.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it didn't work out. No matter how much money it made, it just needed the money again.
Yeah.
So after years, there was no point continuing because it was nothing going in my pocket.
Yeah.
It just kept recycling its own money. But like you said, whenever I started Branded, then I started with all the knowledge that I've learned from that business.
Exactly.
And Branded basically worked from day one.
Yeah.
You know, Branded was putting money in my pocket from day one, and the kind of light bulb moment went off, going, "This is this is the way it should be."
Exactly. Yeah. It's the learnings, and like don't get me wrong, I wake up every single day and think, I know absolutely nothing. There's still so much more to learn, and it's, you know, you're probably always as an entrepreneur, you're probably your own harshest critic all of the time. But when you take a step back and you think about it and you go, actually, no, I have learned some stuff over the last few years. You know,
I spoke to, well, just down through the years in business and stuff, and even like, especially with the podcast now, one of the reasons for the podcast is I get the opportunity to connect with other business owners.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've noticed about all of them, and you probably will have noticed this as well, like talking to people over the years, no one feels like they've made it.
No.
Like every day I am figuring shit out, and I am winging it, and I feel like I'm winging it.
100%.
And I talk to somebody who's 40 years in the game, and they're like, I'm still winging it.
Yeah.
But it's working.
Yeah.
You're winging it based off fair enough like lessons and advice and knowledge, but you never feel confident that like, I've just got it. I'm really, really good at this.
But I think that's the way you have to be as an entrepreneur, is just continue to move that bar higher and higher in terms of, you know, what you need to know. And it's, you know, as you said, as your business has grown, there's so many other roles and tasks and things that need done.
Yeah.
And then you just need to continue to learn new things. So, but I think it is important, like, you know, to sometimes take a step back and think and sort of try and define what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve and all that sort of stuff. And that's definitely something. 2026 for me is a big year in terms of doing that, in terms of actually trying to define what success for me actually is. Because I think as a business person, you can just get into the constant chase of making money, and that doesn't get you anywhere at the end of the day. You know, it's like why do you want to make money, and like what are you trying to achieve? And that's the key thing, I think.
No, 100%. Because like with the first business, the clothing brand, I can definitely say I was ego driven.
Yeah.
To the point where I was thinking about, obviously the business making money, the business growing, but I was thinking about me 10 years time running a massive clothing company.
Yeah.
Being like Gymshark or Nike, obviously at the smaller scale. But I was like imagining my life running that company and being that person.
Yeah.
Where now my mindset has shifted, going, I want to make money, yes. I want to keep my customers happy and do a good job. But my main focus is putting money into my life so I can have experiences and memories.
Yeah.
Where years ago it was all about reinvest. Get this business bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're not looking back on it going like, why did I even think like that?
100%. I suppose there's part of it just finding the balance. Yeah. You know, and I'd say a lot of people definitely sort of lean towards what you've just mentioned you're trying to do with the clothing company, is just, you know, it's all about ego. It's all about chasing the next dollar and all that sort of stuff. But I think just like for me, this year is just defining what success actually looks like and what I want my life to be like in the next number of years. And do I have a vehicle to take me there?
Do you have that answer? Have you?
No, no, definitely not. Like I think a big thing for me is definitely, you know, like it's not a monetary thing or anything like that. It's, you know, Dad's obviously probably one of the main reasons why I've become an entrepreneur was because I grew up in that environment.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I always feel that pressure to succeed, to sort of make him proud and make, you know, mum proud and all that sort of stuff. So I think that's a big thing for me.
The family name too.
Yeah. And that, and you know, the pressure of you know, maintaining that, and obviously the brand has been around a long time and preserving that and taking it to the next level, which, to be fair, like I think the Tommy French brand is definitely more well known now, you know, across the, you know, the wider country than it was before we started the competition. So yeah, well, like maybe that's a good thing.
Well, social media and marketing, you wouldn't really see too much bookmakers doing it.
No,
but
that's true.
But in your game, it's needed.
Yeah, 100%. It's, you know, it's Facebook and Instagram are the key drivers, you know, to reach our customers. So
you don't have to answer this question, right? But I have marketed online, and I've spent like sometimes like a couple of thousand a month on marketing. What does it cost to market a competition page?
Well, I'm not going to give you the exact number, but what I will say is it costs a hell of a lot of money, and people don't realize it, you know? And like, it's like, you know, when we're doing the villa and stuff, and I'm looking at Instagram comments of people saying, because we're saying, oh, it's undersold, and they're saying, what do you mean it's undersold? So you've lifted X amount, and the villa costs you 250k, and you've made this, and you're scratching your head going to yourself, well, what about marketing? What about payment gateway fees? What about staff? What about tax? What about this? What about that? It's the things that people don't see. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into that side of the business.
Because like I say, I have seen marketing figures like with the clothing brand and what they cost on like small scales. And I was looking at the competition pages, looking at like your Instagram followers and stuff. Yeah, I've seen like some the ads and all as well, and the light bulb went off in my head, going like, how much does all that cost? Because I was like looking at where I was and going, to scale that up is a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, we've used like we've done things with like local influencers and things to grow our following and all that sort of stuff on Instagram. So that's why we have a big following there. You
also mentioned you bought cameras, not cheap.
Not cheap.
No.
Yeah, there's so much that goes in before, from the moment I come up with an idea of a prize to the moment it lands on the page. If it's a big sort of physical prize, there's so much that goes into it. We had to go out to Spain, bring a team with us to do the filming. Then you have to get everything edited and ready to go, and then you have to maintain the ads for the length of the competition and optimize and try and improve them. There's a lot of moving parts.
What about the ads? So like, I probably already know the answer just from doing stuff in the past, but like the audience might not know. So like, whenever you're doing a competition, right, it's 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
There's all these ads go live, and then it's like, then the ad goes live for 1 week left. Next week, an ad goes live this Sunday. An ad goes live tomorrow, 24-hour notice. Yeah. So you usually record all them in advance.
Sometimes yes and sometimes no. Like obviously with the villa, we kind of had to do everything in that short window that we went out to film. But then we are quite agile and react to things based on, is the competition undersold? Okay, let's do a load of sort of content around the fact that it's undersold. Or is there only 5 or 10% of the tickets left? Let's do some content around that in terms of, limited tickets remaining. So you do react to it. It's especially if it's running for say 3 or 4 weeks, and we do try and kind of react to whatever way it's going. So yeah, there's a bit of that goes into it.
Yeah, you mentioned there about people commenting, going, "What do you mean it's undersold? You've made this."
Yeah,
and like that was one of the thoughts I had before you come on too. It was like, I bet you he gets that all the time,
100%,
because people don't realize what it actually costs to run.
Yeah. No, it's like there's just and like you couldn't even think of all the things that go into it in terms of the costs, and it's like it's just the same. Yourself from running. Yeah. Like I would classify our business as in many ways similar to an e-commerce business, except you don't have the kind of manufacturing side and fulfillment and stuff, because it's a digital product. But there's a lot of the stuff that's very, very similar, and there's like so many hidden costs to it.
Oh yeah, well, like say you're offering the QR, the QR costs X, and you have to make X, but you have to make X in 30p's or £1.50 at a time.
Yeah.
So like, you're just hoping that figure gets high enough.
Yeah.
To be
like, that's the stressful part.
And then like staff wages and overhead, like even like, staff wages aren't cheap.
No, and they're not getting any cheaper either. So.
No. Same employers, national insurance, and all that shit.
Yeah, it's just everything has become more and more expensive, and as you scale, it just seems harder to make money. No, but that's the game, and it's evolving, and
No, I have seen it, but I have seen people saying it, or like I've heard people in the past saying it. That car's only worth X, and they sell all the tickets, they're making X, and I go,
yeah,
but they might not sell them all.
Exactly.
And also, if they do, they have to make profit.
Yeah,
if they run a business,
it's a business at the end of the day.
Like not running a charity, it's a business.
Yeah,
it's there to make money.
Exactly. Yeah.
Have you ever lost big money on a price?
Yeah, well, look, as I said to you at the start, like sometimes you get it wrong, in terms of just whatever, you pick the wrong car or something like that. So, like we have like. Some competitions win, some competitions lose, and that's the risk that you take. Obviously, when you're doing a big prize, there is the side to it that it's kind of a loss later in terms of, okay, it might bring in some new customers for us.
Oh, the big ones you were classed as loss leaders?
No, well, like some of them, some of them, historically, and everybody thinks, and as you say, that they do the math in their head, and they go,
every time
those boys are cleaning up, but it's not the case. With every competition, but that is the risk, because there's you're competing now with other sites that are doing similar prizes, and you're trying to get the timings right in terms of, you know, the right time of the year to make a push to do a big prize. There's so much that goes into that, and there's risk. But I think, like, my opinion on it is that there's it probably gets to the stage where there's diminishing returns. You know, whether you do a 50 grand prize or 150 grand prize, both prizes are really, really good, and it's a hell of a lot of money for someone to win.
Yeah.
So I've probably started to think more so, you know what, like, what is the point in taking those massive risks and doing something really big? But then you've back your head, you're maybe the ego coming in again to say, where, you know, you'd love to be able to go and do a completely life changing, you know, prize. But I think people are happy enough winning some of the prizes that we do. You know,
I would take anything.
Yeah. So would I.
Is that one thing you struggle with, where you're giving away amounts of money or prizes that you can't put in your own bank?
100%. Like, yeah, sometimes you're just looking at someone going, oh jeez, I just won 50 grand. Like, I'd love to win it myself, but no, like, it is there is a rewarding side of running this business, you know, and like, you do get a buzz when you see people winning, and when you see the emotion and all that side of it. It is like, really, that's the most, for all the stress that comes with it and all the parts that I don't like, that's probably the part that makes it worthwhile.
It is a rewarding business to be in, just for that side of it, because, like, obviously I don't do it, but I can imagine, like, what, like, you are changing, like, if someone gets 50 grand or even 20 grand, like, you're making a huge impact in that person's life. And like, it's bound to be so rewarding making that call.
Oh yeah, no, it is. Like, it's it never gets old.
No.
Yeah, it never gets old making that phone call. It's always exciting to wait and see, you know, how is this person going to react.
And then you have the ones that don't react, and you're like,
and then you have the ones that don't react. But sure, that's all part of it.
It's all part of it. Let me see here. If someone wanted to start a business today, it doesn't be a competition page, but in the entrepreneur section. If someone wanted to start a business today, what would you tell them not to do?
I would tell them not to start anything for the sake of just wanting to be an entrepreneur. I think it has to make sense. I think, like, and this is from my own experience. I've probably done it twice, where I've started businesses and it hasn't been the right time to do it, or it wasn't the right idea. Like, it can sometimes, like, take for example, the other business that I have is tech sales and recruitment and all that sort of stuff, and that was born out of probably a friendship more than anything else. Like, me and Owen Murphy's best friend, and we met each other. We were working in tech down in Dublin, and we just clicked straight away because we both had the exact same mindset. You know, his same sort of background as me. His dad and his granddad, both family business entrepreneurs, so the same sort of thing, and we just had so much in common. And we said to each other, you know, we want to start a business here, and we came up with a couple of different ideas and tried a couple of things, and it wasn't the right move until we eventually stepped back and said, you know what, let's get into something that we actually, you know something about. I think a lot of people will look at the glitz and glamour of certain industries and say, I'm going to give that a crack, or I'm going to do this. But, you know, I think people need to take a step back and say, what do I actually enjoy and what am I good at? And kind of go from there. And I think that's a difficult thing for really young people who want to start businesses, because they probably don't have the experience. So my advice there would be, get into the corporate world, or go out and get a job and do something, and, you know, get some rounds in the tank. And then when you've got a bit of an experience, then maybe start to think about, okay, if I'm going to go out on my own here, what could I do? You know,
experience in a big time.
What's that?
Experience then is the big one.
I think experience, like, if I was to recommend, and again, like, I'm flattered that I'm on this podcast, because I still feel like I haven't figured 90% of anything out.
Well, you've built a highly successful business, so
but my number one piece of advice for somebody trying to get into business is get into sales. And I am slightly biased on that, but I worked in, like, you know, in terms of the educational background that I came from, it wasn't related to tech or to sales or to anything. I kind of fell into it.
So what did you do in education?
So I did a law degree in Queen's, and then I did a master's in finance in Trinity, and worked in finance for a year before then moving into a company called Salesforce, which is
I've heard of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Do you
a
follow-
massive tech company.
Do you follow corporate bro?
Yeah,
Yeah.
follow them. Yeah, no, they're gas. Yeah,
That's where I first learned about Salesforce. Was his skits.
all the tech bros.
All the
Yeah.
fellow tech bros.
Yeah. But no, that's that 100%. Like, see the skills that I picked up in, like, I was obviously running the competitions while I was in there, so it was the balancing act. And eventually left because the competitions got to a stage where it needed a closer eye. But the skills that you pick up by by cold calling and doing all these different things that are painful at the start, but just so rewarding. And the things that you learn, like, I was going into work every day and probably making 100 dials and chatting to like various different business owners every single day and hearing all these different things about how they ran their business. And then obviously, you're trying to sell the software to them, but like the experience that you pick up. And I think it doesn't matter whether you're in the online space or face-to-face sales or whatever. There's some sort of sales element in every single business. If you can't sell, the business isn't going to function. So I think that's a great one for anybody who, first of all, wants to get into a lucrative career path, but also maybe tee themselves up to later become, a business owner, get into sales.
Yeah, sales is really, really important. Like I said, the first business that I done that didn't work, if we had more sales, it would have worked.
Yeah.
We didn't have enough sales to fuel the business, and sales was the problem.
Yeah.
Like in this business now, we're fine on sales, but it's sales that fuel it. Like if they don't come in, what have you got? So
Exactly.
So people think like even you can get too caught up in the product sometimes too.
Yeah.
And then you'll get diminished or heartbroken by if you focus all your time on your product and go, I have the best product in the world, but if nobody buys it, nobody knows about it.
Well, that's it.
So and then you'll be heartbroken that no one wants your product. And why don't they want my product?
Yeah.
His product's worse than mine. They're buying his.
Exactly.
Because he can sell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. No, somebody with sales skills is in a great position to, to step into the entrepreneurial arena, I would say.
Do you ever have any really bad calls?
Like I remember the first day, like, so in Salesforce you had to do like this license to call thing before you were allowed to get on the phone and ring customers. And I passed the license to call and I sat in front of the computer. Like I must have sat for 2 hours staring at the screen going, I don't want to call anyone here.
Oh, really?
Like I'm just afraid of making a complete mess of whatever I'm going to say. But then you do the first one, you realize actually that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
And then you do another and you start to get better. Then you ring someone and they tell you to piss off, and then you kind of get grounded again after thinking you were good at it. And but it's just reps, and then eventually, no matter what anyone says to you on the phone, or just in general, you sort of learn you get rid of that fear of rejection, and that's something that has definitely stood to me, since leaving Salesforce.
Fear of rejection is a big one because like you said, I was sitting there for 2 hours on the phone and you didn't make a call.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the fear of rejection makes people not even act.
100%.
Like then if you don't act, you can't make nothing happen.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm going back to the point of Alex Hormozy, but that 2026 podcast, probably the number one quote or, bit of information that I took out of that was, if you want to be exceptional, you have to be the exception.
Yeah.
And you have to do things that everybody else, isn't doing. And that's the difficult part. It's so hard to get started and to take a step. And a step outside of your comfort zone. But yeah, again, like I'm really advocating for sales here. I don't know why, but again, another reason to get in is just you learn to take those steps. Yep.
Also got a business going to help you get into sales.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Tax sales.
Yeah.
Sure do. Have you ever had anything in the business early on that almost broke it?
Well, the competitions, to be fair, I don't think there's anything necessarily that comes to mind. I think with the sales circle, that business has changed rapidly in a short space of time. Like at the start, we were doing sort of live, like we started off actually doing it for free because my co-founder does content around tech sales. You can give him a follow on Murphy.
I'll look him up.
But that's the business was kind of born out of that. We said, okay, you're getting a bit of traction on that. Let's set it up. And we started off doing live boot camps And we took people on and we did training. At the start, we did it for free to prove the concept. And then once the concept was proven, it evolved from there and we started charging. But there was no way to scale that business by just doing live boot camps because there was too much resource needed.
Yeah.
So that, I would say if we hadn't pivoted at that point, it probably wouldn't be, it probably wouldn't be where it is today. And we've digitized everything and we've removed the need for as much human interaction and training. And that's allowed it to then grow.
So do you have a course now that someone can dip into whenever they want?
We've a course that somebody, so there's the B2C side and then the B2B side. So we do training, which there's a kind of digital course which people can follow. There's also coaches, so people do get a sort of human interaction side of it as well. And then we have partnerships with tech companies that will then hire the people that we've trained and hire them into sales roles, essentially. SDR, BDR roles.
Aye, because I suppose them companies have seen your training and they know like this is the caliber of candidate we're going to get. So
yeah, well that's what's helped it grow because the people that are coming out of the sales circle are performing. When they get placed into these companies, they're performing really well. So at the start, we didn't really touch the B2B side of it or really reach out to any companies. We're just training people and giving them the skills to land these roles. But over time, their managers were starting to look and say, this fella has done really, really well. He's ramped really quickly. Why is that? Where did he come from? And then they started reaching out to us to create more sort of permanent relationships. So they're just hiring directly from the sales circle. And it's, I suppose that's where we aren't in the recruitment game. We don't charge on the B2B side. So they just, if they want to hire someone from the sales circle, it's completely free. So it's a good setup for them.
Yeah, because recruitment's expensive.
Oh, it's crazy. Like if
you go to a recruitment firm, like they take a hefty chunk off the business.
They take a hefty chunk. Like some of the roles that we place in are entry level roles, and Owen was telling me there last couple of weeks ago, a company paid, I think it was 10 or 15 grand recruitment fee for an entry level position. So there's so much risk with hiring, whether it be a graduate or whatever, and getting them into an entry level role. You're paying 10 or 15 grand. And then all the other costs that go into onboarding them and training them and everything else. And then all of a sudden it's a massive investment in somebody that hasn't proven themselves.
And all the calls they're definitely going to fuck up in the early days too. Like,
exactly.
All miss sales.
So much risk. So like a big thing for us is eliminating that risk and the friction that these tech companies feel, in terms of trying to hire the right person. Because sales is like no other career in terms of there's no sales qualification or university degree. There's a lot more sort of soft skills and characteristics that go into it, and which makes it difficult to hire.
And your career is almost like heavily based on performance too.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
like you have to show up and perform every day, and you can't hide.
And I think that's like the hardest part about sales is just showing up every day. Yeah. Because it's not like you don't make $50 a day or $100 a day and get the same result every single day. The sales come in sort of drips and drabs, but it's the consistency that gets you there, of putting the same sort of inputs in every single day. And when you have a good day, don't come in the next day and sort of slack off. It's the mindset part of it is the main thing, which again makes it a very difficult hire for companies because it's hard to really. A lot of people can interview well, but in terms of when they get into the role, performing well is a completely different thing.
And then, like you said, if they have a bad day, do you get in your head? Like you have to be the type of person that can switch out of that too, to be like one bad day doesn't make a bad week.
Yeah, level-headedness, not getting too high with the highs, not getting too low with the lows is the key when it comes. I suppose just in business in general, yourself. Like when things are going good, don't get overexcited, and when they're going bad, don't get too hard on yourself. Just keep the level head throughout, and if you keep consistent, you keep putting in the hard yards, then eventually you'll get the results. So,
I've actually started looking at annual turnover.
Yeah.
Instead of like month by month.
But month by month is like it just because it makes you feel awful. See when you don't, when you have a month where it dips or something. Owen and I were talking about that with the sales start. We've started looking at it quarter by quarter.
Yeah.
But looking at a broader lens, and I think is a better way to go because the graph might sort of go like this, but as long as it's trending up. But if you're just looking at it month to month, sure it could be.
Yeah, because it's like there's some months we'll do like double our average month.
Yeah.
And there's me in my head going, I know what the average month is because I know what the year is.
Yeah.
But I'm still looking at the month because it's a good one.
Yeah.
I know it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And then you get the all ones where you're going like, that's half of an average month. fuck, what went wrong this month?
Exactly.
It's like nah, it's like right, just focus on the annual.
Yeah, the wider lens, 100%.
Yeah.
Because things like a seasonality, especially I'd say for you, there's a seasonality aspect, is there?
Yeah, well, Christmas for us,
Yeah.
really, really good. Like,
Yeah.
like saying, because everybody wants merch coming up the December. So like November for us is usually like one of our busiest months, and then we have motorsport season starting off like early summer, so that'll be like sort of April, May. So like
Yeah.
whenever they kick off and all the teams need like or all the drivers need merch and stuff, or companies need merch, it's usually quite good for us. So like I would say start of summer and then approaching Christmas would be our two best ones. January's never actually been a slump apart from this year. This year was bad.
Yeah.
Because I've always geared for a bad January.
Yeah.
Thinking everybody's skint, so they're not going to spend on merch
Yeah.
merch uniforms. And every year I've got away with it, but for some reason this year I didn't.
I noticed it this year as well. There was definitely money was shorter.
Yeah.
100%. This January felt different because I mean, in theory, you're thinking off the back of Christmas, nobody has any money. It's the longest kind of period from paycheck to paycheck. But no, this January I'd agree with you. I definitely saw that.
That's what I mean. But every year I've been waiting on it, and every year I've been lucky where like it hasn't been overly bad.
Yeah.
But this year it was, and then it carried over into February as well. And then it started. And looking at the month by month thing, I started going, this year's not going well so far.
Yeah.
And then I started off March, and it's like, it's not really going here. And then thankfully mid-March came, and it just picked up, and I'm like, there we go, the year's off, back on. Orders are coming in hot and heavy again. We're flowing.
Yeah.
but I will be honest, I did start to panic a bit, be like, if this stays out, if this keeps going, I guess it's not going to be a great year.
Yeah. But that's where I suppose we were talking about there, the level-headedness.
Yeah.
It's just keeping calm and trusting that it's going to be bounce back.
I'm lucky, like touch wood, that work keeps coming and it goes down to like us doing a good job. Like I know, like we're not sitting in a big fancy office or fancy workshop or anything, but we do spend a lot of time on like the end product. And one thing I'd always say to people is a lot of printers and embroiderers, I feel like they think their job is only to get that logo onto the item, and then it's done. Where I see me spending hours with customers going, that's not going to work, you're not going to like that. Yeah. And so because I came from a clothing brand background, I'm always thinking about the finished product.
Yeah.
And what that's going to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's what sort of sets us apart.
The finer details rather than just whacking on a logo and shipping it off.
Yeah, like something that I do that it costs so much extra time that our customers don't even know we do.
Yeah.
Is like, I'll get, like, say you want something on the back of a t-shirt, right? Well, I'll put that at a certain width for a size small.
Yeah.
But you're ordering extra small, medium, large, extra large, double XL and stuff, I'll make that 10 mil wider for every single one.
Yeah.
So as it looks the same on every item. So you're not sitting with a big logo on a small item and on a small logo on a big item. And I know every 90% of all printers will just have one standardized size and put it in all of them.
Yeah.
So it looks stupid on the smalls, looks stupid on the big, looks okay in the middle ones.
Yeah.
But like, I resize by 10 mil for every single item.
Finer details. Yeah. Well, I suppose that's experience for you.
Yeah. No one even asked me to do it, or no one knows how to do it.
Yeah.
But I do it for every customer.
Well, they know now. You've got to document it in the podcast.
So. They know now. That's why we're the best. But like, so small details like that. So like, I will focus on doing like a really, really good job for customers. Because I've always had this mindset where if I wouldn't be happy to spend my money on it, I shouldn't sell it. I think that's one thing that sort of sets us apart.
Yeah.
Like I've seen me throwing stuff in the bin and replacing them.
Not happy.
I'm not happy. The customer would have never noticed.
Yeah.
But I'm like, nah, not good enough.
No, it's Jeff Bezos is like just completely obsessed with customer service. That's his like number one thing is the customer happy, and if you can keep the customer happy, then that's half the battle.
Like, I am terrible at marketing, and I mean like really bad at it. But I will say one thing, like doing a good job with every customer, our word of mouth's been very, very good.
Yeah.
So like every year the business is scaled like decent percentages.
Yeah.
Just based on mostly word of mouth.
Yeah.
I think it was one time I realised I didn't post for like 14 months.
Yeah.
And the business grew like 20%.
The marketing side of it, I just like it's some of it's quite enjoyable and quite interesting and all that sort of stuff, but it's a lot of effort. And like it's something that I want, and it's probably off the back of Owen doing content, and I've seen the success of that is to start a personal brand. But when you
have started because you're more of the videos now.
Well, no, I have actually started. So that like that has only become a thing. Like Rob's kind of come in and told me, some of the founder led stuff will hit home a bit.
Yeah.
And I've started, and like I see when I'm scrolling, Martin, and see myself on the feed. Like it's, I hate it, but
well, you're going to see yourself a lot more because we'll get about 8 clips out of this.
Yeah. But I've started to get a bit more used to it. But like, especially nowadays, the power of personal brand is massive.
Big time.
But it's the the effort that goes into that, and the consistency of needing to post every single day, and all these different things.
It's something like most people don't think about, but
yeah,
it's almost like a safety blanket for life.
Yeah.
So like, if I can build a personal brand, even if what I'm doing fails, the next thing's easier.
You've got a personal brand behind it.
You've got a personal brand.
There's so much versatility with having it.
No, it's a long investment. It takes work. Also, people mightn't like you. Depending on your content, people might people might not resonate with you.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, if you build a personal brand and you're genuine enough, you'll attract people that genuinely relate to you.
Well, that's the thing, and I think like a lot of like what I've seen, and like we've brought a girl in for the sales circle who's kind of head of brand, and like one point she made early on is that number of followers and going viral on social media now isn't a big deal, because if you go viral on social media and you get all these new followers but they aren't going to buy your product or whatever your business might be, it's pointless. So just having a niche following that's interested in you and your content and your brand is more important.
You see people online that've got 2,000 followers and they're making 10 grand a month.
Yeah.
And there's all people with 200,000 followers and they can't make anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
One thing, do you know Phil Graham?
I've heard of him. Yeah.
He's big in the fitness space, like as a mentor.
Yeah.
He's moving into general business now as well. But I remember sitting down with him years ago whenever I first started the first business. One thing he said to me that always it stuck with me to this day, and you're going back maybe 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
And he said to me, sales are sanity like vanity.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's it. It's such a smooth saying, but it just means so much.
So I've heard that one, another good quote from Dad. Same thing, just flipping its head. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity.
So that's a good one too.
That's a good quote.
So your dad comes from the bricks and mortar generation, where he means more about social and stuff. So but both of them equally important.
100%.
Profit's massive, and it's something that most people don't consider.
Yeah. Being in the online space, sure, you pump more ad spend in and you get more revenue. It doesn't mean more profit at the end of the month. So
no, it's like I've made an extra 10 grand, but it cost me 8.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the products that I sold cost me 5, so I'm down money.
But it's a constant battle, isn't it?
It's a constant battle. No, it's metal. Does your dad take much to do with the business? I know you said he's a partner and started it, but is he kind of like?
He does, and like. I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in, and without having him there as a sounding board at the beginning, and picking up bits of advice along the way, and if I was making a decision, he maybe pulled me on it. So 100% have been in a fortunate position to have him by my side doing it.
It's good that you're self-aware enough though to even appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll hear like father and son, and it's like, no, I'm fucking right. Like I'm gonna prove, I'm gonna prove I'm right.
Well, there probably is a bit of that too. No, like obviously I always take his advice and listen to it, because he's been in business for a hell of a lot longer than I have. So he's probably seen it all at this stage, and I might think I know it all, but definitely don't.
Do you secretly want to outdo him?
What?
Do you secretly want to outdo
Well, I
him?
think there always is that in the back of your head, in terms of like you probably should, because he's given me the opportunity to go in and start my own business and all that sort of stuff, and taught me a lot along the way. So in theory, that probably should be the goal, but it's not something that I think about.
No.
It's more so, as I said at the beginning, is to make him proud, make mum proud, that they all think I've done a good job. My sister's girlfriend, Maeve. All that sort of stuff is more important, and then also thinking about the future, and if I have a family and all that sort of stuff, making sure that I'm able to take care of them.
This podcast is brought to you by Blue Nutrition, where science meets performance. Whether you're pushing through intense workouts or just trying to stay sharp day to day, Blue Nutrition has your back. Their powerhouse product, which I take every day because it actually helps me feel great, is their Essential Green Superfood, which blends 34 potent ingredients to help support immunity, energy, digestion, and it actually tastes great. With a wide range of products, Blue Nutrition is trusted by athletes and everyday grinders alike. Blue Nutrition delivers quality you can feel. So if you're serious about your health, head to bluenutrition.co.uk, and they can also be found on nisupplements.com. And if you're listening to this podcast, you can get 10% off with discount code ROUNDTABLE10. Blue Nutrition, fuel your potential. You think quite well for being like young. Who said 27?
Yeah.
Did you always have that head on you?
No, I would say I was a bit of a joker back in the day, in school. Like I still am, but I would say I definitely got a lot more serious, just in general in terms of outlook on life and all that sort of stuff, and probably influenced again by, the people I spend most of my time with, and Owen Murphy again, like me and Owen are with each other all the time, and just all we talk about is business, and people probably look at that and say it's maybe it's a bit sad. Like, don't get me wrong, with a load of crack as well, but it's like me and Dad, the number one thing we talk about is business, because it's the number one thing we're interested in. I
can fully relate, because the clothing brand that I had, I started it, and then the mate that I said likes photography and stuff, Ran, I started getting him to do photography for me for the business, because I didn't know anything about photography.
Yeah.
And I guess it's going back. I started it when I was 23, so he would have been 23, 24, and it was after like maybe a year. As I just said, I was like, look, do you want to come in this with me?
Yeah.
Like, be a part of it, because you've been here every single, like, from you started doing photos, me and you have talked about this business every single day.
Yeah.
I was like, just come in and be a part of it, because it's funner with you than it is with you. And the whole time we ran that business, yes, it didn't work out in the end, but like me and him both talk about them being great days. So just me and him sitting chatting business, scheming.
Yeah.
Every day, making plans. And like we made some crazy stuff happen. Like, looking back on it now, they're all experiences and memories and moments. Like, even running events or doing massive product launches and getting them over the door.
The learning curve. That's it.
It's one thing I've said about this business is quite lonely.
Yeah.
Which might be a case for starting this podcast. I get that chat to other business owners.
I think it's great. Like, and it's something that I think is, I recently joined. Owen and I joined a sort of entrepreneur members community, set up by a guy. He's from Dublin. He's I think he's maybe from, I'm not sure exactly where he's from, but he's based down south. And there's a load of different entrepreneurs in it, and like it's been such a help, in terms of chatting to people and getting advice in terms of like, what are you doing, in terms of this process, or do you know anyone who we could hire to fill this role, or different things like that, and just people to talk to. I think up here, this neck of the woods, it's something that is definitely lacking. Like, there's no real entrepreneurs community, and like a great reason for this podcast, in terms of starting to create more of a buzz around those things. And
like, whatever you yourself as a business owner, like your mind never stops. Like, one of the things I thought about this podcast was maybe down the line starting one of them groups.
Yeah.
But in my head, you kind of always have that. What is it they call it? Where you don't think you're good enough for something. There's a term for it in entrepreneurship. You know what I'm talking about?
I can't think of the term, but
I
get the
thing.
gist.
So I thought about like a results roundtable group at some point.
Yeah.
And because I was like, in my head, I'm like, who am I to coach this group? I was like, I could get in people every month for like a speciality.
Yeah.
So like, join this group free or whatever, and every month I'll get in like a specialist in marketing, or a specialist in investing, or a specialist in like business operations, and like they'll come in and upscale the whole group, because like I hadn't really found a hand that suited me.
But I think it's so valuable, and I think it just like it, having access to those people is, because not everybody has the mindset or whatever, or thinks to go out and reach out to people and try and get help, because they think maybe if they were to ask that person, they'd probably say no, which a lot of the time actually don't think is the case. I think a lot of entrepreneurs are willing to help others.
100%. Like I find entrepreneurs are the most friendly and helpful people, because people don't realize it, right? But no matter what level they're at, they've been in the shit. They have been through the wars, and if you come up to them and genuinely ask for a bit of advice, like they'll remember them in those days.
Exactly.
And they'll be like, they'll feel for you and help. I haven't met any. I'm sure there's out there that are assholes, but I haven't met any that's like fully unwilling.
No, I'm the same. And it's like, it's that one small sort of nugget of information from somebody who's 5-10 years ahead of you can just help you skip months ahead.
100%. Like one thing I'm going to take from this podcast that you said was buy back your time.
Yeah.
So like
Great book.
I'll get that book off. I'll get that book on order on Amazon before you leave, because I would say that's something I'm struggling with at the minute.
Yeah.
Because fair enough, I've got help with production, but I'm struggling to manage like the sales, the bookkeeping, the accounts, the customer service. I'm doing all the design and alterations for people's logos.
Yeah.
So like the only bit of the business I have help with is actually putting the logos onto the items.
Yeah.
And every other touch point is me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm stretched thin.
Yeah, it's like the big point in that book is like, are you the single point of failure of the business?
100%.
And like I still am for the competitions, for the sales circle, where we've actually in a very quick period of time we've got to a place where we maybe aren't as much, but and so just like that experience has taught me so much.
No, that's good, because like it is something I'm struggling with at the minute. And even I heard this thing a couple of weeks ago, it's put it back in my head too, was like, can you sell your business without you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, my business is only valuable because of me.
Yeah.
So I don't have a sellable model.
Exactly.
So if I wanted to
there's big emphasis on that. Another one is Built to Sell. Have you read it?
Build to Sell.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I haven't read it though.
Yeah. Recommend it as well. Along the same line of thinking as in terms of what you're talking about there. Single point of failure in the business.
Though that put alarm bells off my head, going like, I haven't built nothing valuable. It's only valuable with me.
Yeah, but it's like, I suppose like you kind of have to go through that phase.
Yeah.
Like as I said, only the last 6 months have really started to try and get away from that, and still nowhere near. Like it's a whole process.
Oh, it's a long process, and you'll feel along the way. It's that one thing of like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but keep moving forward.
And then you have to hire, and like hiring's obviously a whole different kettle of fish as well. Getting the right people. So.
And what if you get it wrong? What then?
What if you get it wrong? You're back to square one.
Back to square one.
Nothing's ever easy, Martin, as you know.
No, it's I love that saying, fail forward.
Yeah. No, it's a good one.
I think it's great. Let's talk some about risks then. Mm-hmm. So you're in a business built on risks, right? Because someone's taking the risk to a bad ticket, and they might or might not win. But how do you personally think about risk, or how do you handle risk in business? Are you quite risk averse, or do you?
No, like I think like I remember reading a stat actually recently. It was like, how many businesses actually fail after, it was either 3 or 6 years, and it was over 50%.
Yeah.
So by those kind of laws of statistics, you're kind of getting into a game where the odds are against you from the get-go. But I think if you don't have that sort of characteristic where you're willing to take a risk, your business will struggle to grow. Like you have to take risks at times, and you have to do things that are going to push you out of your comfort zone. So no, I think like maybe in some cases I'm probably too pro risk. Like, as a business, we probably did some big prizes, in terms of our maturity at the time, that we probably shouldn't have done, but it helped us grow a bit quicker.
Oh, like we're not ready for this.
We're not ready for it.
This has to go right.
It has to go right, and like, sometimes that pays off, and sometimes it doesn't. But no, I think like from that perspective, probably I'm quite aggressive in terms of trying to grow both of the businesses that I'm involved in. No risk, no reward, I suppose.
No risk, no reward
is the analogy there.
You think you've answered that one before? Like, what's the biggest gamble you've taken in business? You would have said probably the first house. So you just kind of answered that, where like being not ready for a prize.
The first house, like, yeah, again, we probably weren't at the maturity to do it, but we did it. And it grew our customer base massively. So it paid off in a lot of ways. And
did you just empty the business bank and be like, what house can we afford? this better come back in, please.
You're saying your prayers every night before you go to bed and all that sort of stuff.
You're waking up at 4 a.m. just checking ticket sales.
Yeah, just hitting refresh constantly.
If we'll talk about that one too. Family and legacy. And so, what was it like growing up around bookmakers? You mentioned about like national or Grand National Day being like some atmosphere and all.
Yeah, it was like I worked, from a young. Well, I say I worked. Some of the boys in the bookies might say I didn't work, but
I
showed my face.
Funny you should say that. I have some notes. No, okay. I haven't talked to anybody.
Showed my face. I was in, so I was in. I love the atmosphere. I think it's a great environment to learn how to deal with people and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, love growing up in it. Obviously, there's kind of an entrepreneurial DNA, I suppose, in the family. Like, dad was an entrepreneur. Great granda, my uncle was also, he set up a software company that him and dad set it up, and it runs software for a lot of the independent bookmakers in the UK and Ireland. So
Didn't know that.
yeah, he passed away actually 2015, but he was a programmer, but a really smart guy, and that business is still going today. So like Paddy Power, for example, is one of their biggest customers.
Oh really?
Yeah, so
fucking hell.
there's a lot of kind of it was around me growing up, and there was always an expectation that, I suppose, to work hard and perform, and like even the girls, like my sisters, have they're all very academic, and they've done well for themselves in that regard, and so I think the environment, and I would say, like, don't get me wrong, like, always had loads of support growing up from grandparents, mum and dad, and everyone, but there was always that expectation that you need to work hard and you need to go out and make something of yourself and do well.
Was there ever any pressure to go into the family business, run the family business, or was there, you said, support, and like was there support to go out and do your own thing?
I think, yeah, no, they're 100%. Like, mum and dad have always been 100% supportive in terms of anything that I've wanted to do. Like, even, like, moving to Salesforce was a really random, because it come from like a law and finance background. It made no sense at the time. Like, I only ended up there because a guy in Trinity that I was friends with, a German guy, who like was just one of those lads who was really clued in and everything sort of mapped out.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to Salesforce. I hadn't heard of Salesforce at the time. But like, the tech industry is the biggest industry in the world. Like, Salesforce have a bigger market cap than Goldman Sachs. They're massive. Yeah. But I'd never heard of it. And then sort of came home. I was working in Citibank at the time, and came home and I said, said to mum and dad, want to move to Salesforce. And they're like, had never heard of them. And I remember telling like my grandparents and stuff, and they hadn't heard of them before. So that was definitely a risk, but they supported it. And if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't be in the position today where, Meadow and Murphy is now my best mate. We're now co-founders of another business. So it's like all these things where they supported me along the way. And like, the girls, like the sisters and me of the girlfriend, as well, just massive support from all of them. And I've created an environment where, it has allowed me to focus on the business, because, like, if take me, for example, we're on holidays, and you probably know, you're probably the same.
I know what you're going to say.
You have to sometimes go up to the bedroom, do a bit of work, and it probably annoys them, but it just has to be done. And if she didn't allow for that, it would make running the business very difficult. So I'm grateful for that support.
I actually got a second phone, so it is, because like, wait a minute on holidays, and she just took a phone out of my hand.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just Instagram. No, you're not. You're on the business Instagram. Yeah. It's like, I'll reply to the message. And then I got a second phone where I was like, right, I'm going to segregate them. So whenever I'm with you, that phone goes away. Yeah. And I will segregate it. Because sometimes I was like, sometimes it sounds stupid, but like, I would get a message on a Saturday night at 10:30 going, how much for a t-shirt, mate?
Yeah.
And you're sitting there trying to eat Chinese, watch a film, and you're going like...
But it's hard not to answer those things, and like, it's one thing about it, you can never switch off. No. It's impossible.
But you're looking at like, going, a t-shirt, I'm going to make £5 off you. and you're looking at, and it's 10:30 on a Saturday night. I was like, but if I don't message you back until Monday, it's like, so I have started doing this thing now, though, where on weekends I'm like, I'm off.
Yeah.
I'm not replying to messages. So I have the second phone for that, where I do put it away. But I will confess, and I don't know if she knows this, my biggest customers have my personal number. So my biggest ones that I want to keep
so they can always get you no matter what.
So it's like, they can always get me. Yeah. So like, even my personal phone now is not personal.
No, it's that's a tough bit of switching off. But I think having the support network, around you that allows for it is like, and without it, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if that hadn't been there from the get-go. And like, even grandparents and everyone else, massive supports along the way. I think like the only, I remember reading, like, there's very few people in life that want you to do better than them, except for your parents. Like, everybody else, might be happy for you, but they don't want you to do better.
I can't remember where I heard that, but I did hear that before.
Yeah.
Where it's like everybody wants you to do well, not just better than them. But then you've twisted it, where it's like that's everyone apart from family.
Yeah, they're the only people that do it. Like my grandparents, like I remember, like anytime I rang them, like my grand or whatever, and my grandmother, and you told them you got promoted in work or you got your exam results, they were happier than I was. Like just
buzzing.
The reaction, was unbelievable. So, I think it's so important to build that support network around, and it allows for, for growth, and allows for focus and all those different things.
No, big time. What lessons did your family teach you that still sort of shape how you operate today? Or have you took them lessons in your operations that you treat staff a certain way now because of how they've treated you yourself?
Yeah. I think growing up, I would say, I think Dad is definitely a good person to work for. Like in the bookies, like I think, the vast majority of people that have and do work for him, enjoy working under him. I think he's kind and generous and all those sort of things, and so definitely something that I have taken and tried to apply and try. We don't have a massive team in the competitions or the sales circle, but we have a few staff working for us in both businesses, and just trying to be kind and encourage them and support them along the way, I think is really important. But any sort of quality that I've taken from growing up is hard work, and that's it. Yeah, and that's the number one thing. And there's so many, obviously, kind of other elements of hard work. Like it's a very broad word, but it all comes back to it. Like if you don't put in the work, nothing.
But it's something people miss, and I think like in today's generation, you always hear about like Gen Z being soft. Yeah. Where they're entitled. They expect things. Where people just miss that point. Like you're not entitled to anything. Like, you don't. I hate to say it, but you don't deserve anything. Yeah. If you want something, you have to work for it. Like even in this business, like we'll say again, last business failed. Yeah. I didn't deserve for it to win. Yeah. I didn't deserve for it to lose either. Yeah. But it won or failed based off the actions I took, and at some point we made bad decisions. Yeah. To not make it scale. Like if we would have made, I don't know what them decisions were, but looking back, if we would have made different decisions at a certain point, would have pivoted a different trajectory. Yeah. Like same in this business. If I don't come up and put in the work more, I don't make money. Like you have to take action. Yeah, it's the number one ingredient, and so other part like discipline and focus. Like focus is a big thing that I like over the last couple of years has definitely become more apparent to me. Is like you can't do everything at once. No. And staying laser focused, staying disciplined, that all feeds in just into working hard every single day and being consistent, and then hopefully you get the results at the end of it. And if you don't, taking what you've learned, and then moving on to whatever it is that's coming up next. No, big time. And even like you said, like you said about that book that I'm going to buy your time or buy back your time. Dan Martell. So like you can take action, but it can be stupid action. Yeah. So like you're busy, you're doing work, you're working hard, but are you self-aware enough or intelligent enough, or have you learned enough lessons to know what you're doing is right? Looking back on my other business, I was working. Yeah. So it wasn't like I wasn't busy or wasn't working. Yeah. But in this business, I know what tasks make me money. Yeah. Yeah. And I focus on those as much as I can. Yeah. But I suppose like it's the point of you wouldn't be there if you hadn't have done the other business and worked hard at it and like made the mistakes. No, I don't regret that at all. So I don't like I really at the time obviously I was sad because I had to close it down, and even like ego wise kind of got me a bit too. Yeah. Where it's like, oh, fuck, people's going to talk about this. Yeah. Did they? Probably not. No. That's the thing. But it's in your head. Yeah. I look like a failure. Yeah. Where really what should be in your head is I feel like a failure. Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah. Yeah. But and it's like it's that mindset of thinking that other people are thinking about you, and like that's me. Like for example, when I started getting in front of the camera, like people are gonna say this and that, but sure, if they do, so be it. And the reality is they probably don't even think about it. So probably don't even think about it. And if I do say something, like people's attention spans now are so short with social media. Like if I talk about you today, I'm not talking about you tomorrow. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. There's someone else to talk about tomorrow. Yeah. Which is it's a good thing if you do something stupid. Yeah. Yeah. Please forget about this in 24 hours. Social media actually quite talked about quite a lot of it. Did you find it hard to get in front of the camera to start? What about your first recordings? How'd they go? Well, to be fair, I would say sales is bound to help.
sales, like funny enough, like I played sport and stuff growing up, but one of the more niche things that I was involved in that mum and dad got me to go to was speech and drama.
Speech and
So
drama.
randomly, yeah. So I probably had a natural ability to communicate in in a scenario where people are watching you.
Where'd you go? Was it Mads?
No, Shelley Lowry, yeah, in Portadown.
Oh shit! Oh, so my sister done that Mads.
Yeah, yeah.
Thing.
So I did that. I remember I think it was primary 5, as in The Wizard of Oz, and the whole school came down to watch and stuff. And
Brilliant.
I was dressed up as like a munchkin and all these different things. But
you were the popular kid that time.
It was it was good crack, and the speech and drama definitely helped in terms of being able to communicate and all that sort of stuff. It paid dividends. So I didn't find it difficult in front of the camera. What I found difficult was seeing myself after coming up in the feed, and you're sort of cringing, going, "Oh my god!" Other people are saying that, and you sometimes do. It means the first time I ever got experience of this was when we were doing the villa, and there was a big marketing push, and my face was everywhere, and there were you get some abuse in the comments, but you just have to say, whatever, who cares? It comes with the territory.
Yeah, it does indeed. Oh, something I wish I would have done with speech and drama, because I mumble quite a lot or speak slow, and or I speak too fast. Sorry, that's slow. I mumble quite a lot and I speak fast, and sometimes I'm hard to understand. And with this podcast, it's like I have to make people understand me.
Yeah,
because if I just switch off and don't think about it, I'm hard to understand.
Yeah,
I know because my mum tells me, my girlfriend tells me, everyone tells me, and then I'm like, right, to start this podcast, this is something I have to get better at.
Yeah.
Really do have to get better at. As soon as the cameras go off, I can go back to square one if I want. But in front of the cameras, I need to make sure I'm pronunciating properly.
What I used to do when I was working in sales, and we were primarily ringing people in sort of mainland UK. I put on a bit of an accent to make sure, because otherwise you're just constantly repeating yourself. They're like, what? What was that you said, or whatever. So I did that as well back working there. And
no, I had a hard enough time talking myself into doing the podcast, because it's the same as you saying about going to do the villa. I'm not really a fan of social media, because obviously because I've worked in it with the old business and stuff, and then I kind of have to do it now. I'm like, I don't like it personally. I don't get caught up in the trap of posting and stuff like that. I'm like, because I use it for business, I don't want to use it personally. And coming back to do this podcast, I was like, I have to be on social media. I have to get in front of the camera. I have to use social media. One thing, that's the one thing I thought about too, was, people's going to talk in the comments. People's going to talk. No one ever has, or if they have, I haven't seen it.
No, I got a few good slags, but some of them were quite funny, to be fair. But you sort of learn to get over it, and even I've only been doing it a few months now, but at this stage, just don't care.
I got the skin of the Irish, so we do have thick skin. So we can give jokes and we can take them.
Like me, growing up, the lads that I hung around with, unbelievable crack, and sure spent our whole childhood just turning each other to shreds. So you suddenly you grow that thick skin eventually.
Man,
so
even still, I would say, if a therapist could look at my group chat with the friends, she would have something to say. You boys have I'm going back 10 years here, and you boys haven't been supportive once.
No. And with the lads, there's no line. There's no line. There's no line.
There is no line. But to say if your friends are nice to you all the time, they're not your friends.
No.
It's like a true friend will cut you to bits.
Yeah. Exactly. No, 100%.
100%. Well, you never answered that because you don't know the answer. So we're in the philosophy. What does success actually mean to you now? But you're talking about building something for yourself and building something your family's proud of. You kind of have answered that. Has money changed how you see life? Obviously, you're seeing a lot of money being through about now, and the prizes and stuff. Or the success of your businesses too, personally.
I think, I would say that any time where things have gone well, or different things like that, or Sales Circle hit a milestone there a couple of months ago, and I think when those things happen, they're great, but the feeling that you get probably in terms of monetary milestones, it's probably not what you thought it would be.
No.
And that's where I think I have taken a step back to say, okay, you could run your businesses chasing money, and that's it. That's like the sole goal of it. But the reality is that's not actually the rewarding bit. The bit, and you mentioned there running the last business with your mate and looking back on those days, and they were unbelievable. And it's actually the journey and the process that is the fun bit. And then, the rewarding elements of the business with the competitions, it's seeing people win exciting prizes. And then their sales circle is a bit more vocational in terms of, we're training people, getting them into really good careers, and there's a rewarding side of that. So, I think it's, pure figures is not all that it's cracked up to be.
No.
And, you need to make money to keep the business going, and that's it. And everybody wants to make money and live a better life and have more freedom and support their family and all that sort of stuff. And I definitely want to do that, but it's not...
it's not the goal. It's not the only goal.
It's not the only goal. Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, because it has to be a goal.
Yeah, it has to be a goal.
Support your family has to be a goal.
We'll be in trouble. Yeah.
Maeve will be ringing you up going, what did you say? What's something you believed at 20 that you completely disagree with now?
Something that I believed at 20.
Are you only 27, so even strap it back a few years to your teens?
Well, I've touched on the kind of part there of, sort of money side of it, materialistic things and how happy they will make you. And, when you sort of achieve certain milestones or different things, it's not what life's all about. So I would say, like, I've kind of repeated myself there a bit, but I think that is like the main thing. Like at that age, like I'd seen, family members, entrepreneurs, and all I was fixated on was, that sort of cliche of going out and starting a business and making a load of money. And it's not something that is 100% fulfilling.
No.
And I think just, doing something that you actually enjoy, and doing something that gives you that level of fulfillment and makes you happy, and all those sort of things are actually more important. No. It's an easy cliche thing to say, but it's 100% true. And then you don't feel as much, like, don't get me wrong, you still feel like you're working, but just not as much as, if you're doing something that wasn't fulfilling whatsoever.
Oh, and there's no problem repeating yourself. It just means the point's valid.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Like, sometimes you can break things down into very simple terms. It's like, it doesn't need to be all this over explanation. It's just this thing.
Yeah.
What experiences has running the competition business given you where you've been like, how the fuck did I end up here? This is mad.
Random ones, like some like working with different influencers and different things, and has been cool, and like with Julian Simmons and people like that who are involved and have done work for us, and that's been great. But what one of the fun things is, like, you asked me when I pulled up there in the M4, do you get to drive the cars?
Yeah.
Yes, that's something that's really enjoyable. Sometimes some prizes, if they aren't taken, we can, like, I've gone to a couple of concerts where we haven't somebody's taking the cash over tickets, like random things like that. Bruce Springsteen, like, I'm a massive Bruce Springsteen fan.
And someone took the cash?
Somebody took the cash. So
I thought he would have been a big one. Somebody would have took the tickets.
Yeah, no. So it was a concert in Prague, actually. It was last year.
So you had to go. You had to go on holiday then.
Had to go to Prague with
Raging
with Owen Murphy again. But no, things like that. That are perks to running the competitions that are fun. You had to have them. Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah.
You can't all be like sitting in front of a computer doing admin. What's one? We get into some closing statements now, because we've been talking for probably about 2 hours, right? What's one truth about business most people don't want to hear?
Jesus, so where do you begin here? It's gonna be another 2-hour conversation. Some truth about business that you don't want to hear. I think, like, this is probably more technical. Maybe it's a philosophical question, but more on the sort of technical side. Like, everybody is fixated with growth and scaling at the start, and I think while it's great to grow rapidly, I think always err on the side of caution, because as I found out early on, your cash flow is king.
Big time.
And you probably know this from being in the e-commerce space, and the limitations that come in terms of you having to buy your all your clothing products, and the sort of the limitations in terms of how you can scale it, because you need the cash flow to scale it. So I think always err on the side of caution and scale the business, as it grows, and don't try and overscale it and grow too rapidly, which probably is not what some people want to hear, because you're thinking, let's get in, let's start it, let's grow as quickly as possible. But in reality, it doesn't always sort of work out that way.
Well, I can speak from experience with the old business compared to this one. So you talked about like buying clothes and stuff and selling them. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
We would have been designing clothes and then getting manufactured out in China, and we would have went through 3-4 months of like iterations of mock-ups and samples.
Yeah.
You finally get that. So you have to pay for all them.
Yeah.
Pay for the shipping of all them.
You pay for them up front, I assume, like the whole.
Yeah. So like you're paying for a sample of a t-shirt or a sample of a pair of leggings, and then you tell the manufacturer, nah, didn't like that, didn't like this, change this here.
Yeah.
Cut that sleeve 1 inch shorter. Stupid stuff. And you'll go back through. You'll go through 3 or 4 versions. You have to pay for every single one of them. Then you're finally ready. You're like, right, that's right. I want it in 3 colors. Give us 100 of each, and split the sizes like this here. There's 300 units. Pay for those. They'll go into production for 6 weeks. Then they'll take 6 weeks to get to you. So there's now 3 months, and you're out of pocket up front.
Yeah.
So that t-shirt that I'm trying to sell for £30 each, I've paid for 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And you talk about cash flow.
Yeah.
So that was very hard for us. And we talk about scaling too quickly. Again, I can relate this to like my own personal thing. Because we found that we were making really, really good products and just didn't have the cash flow, we then went and got loans.
Yeah.
So then we were able to make loads of nice products.
Mm-hmm.
Sales, but our marketing was bad. Like I remember saying we were bad at sales. So we were stuck when times were bad, still paying loan payments.
Yeah.
So scaling too quick actually hurt us.
Yeah.
So
and I think that's where, the sort of the battle. You asked me, am I kind of a risk averse or a pro risk person? But it's getting the balance right between, being aggressive and scaling the business and all that sort of, all those great things, but also, keeping an eye on the bank balance and making sure you're in a position to scale.
I was young and naive.
Yeah.
And I learned the lesson the hard way.
Yeah.
But then I can take those lessons into this business, like just to relate to what you were saying again, like into like a real world scenario from my own personal life. This business, we have no cash flow problems.
Yeah.
So we're all made to order.
Mm-hmm.
So when you give me an order, I then buy that stuff for that order.
Mm-hmm.
So cash flow, we're not sitting there to pocket for months and months and months. All the machinery, like I said to you before, everything we've bought, we've never got a loan or never financed at least any of the equipment. Took us longer to grow, but we're now in a strong position where bad times can't affect us.
Yeah,
because we're not sitting. Cash flow is not a problem.
Yeah, well, yeah, no,
but it took me to learn it the hard way.
Yeah,
so listen.
Yeah,
listen to what he said.
Cash flow is king.
Don't make my mistake.
And the other one, and I've just thought of it, is a business mentor gave me it. This doesn't, like, I have a really good team of people that are working for us at the minute.
Yeah.
But obviously we've hired people over time that where it hasn't worked out, or we've used agencies and different things for marketing or whatever it may be, and it doesn't work out. And he said something that's so true. In terms of, when you hire someone or when you bring on an agency, lower your expectations, because nobody, when 90% of the time, you're very lucky if this isn't the case, nobody's just going to meet where your expectations are. So that was something that was actually a sort of real world bit of knowledge that turned out to be true. And I have started to do that, because as a business owner, you have your standards, and your standards are really high.
Yeah.
But you can't expect everyone else to reach those standards, so just sort of lower them. But I think that one was a decent bit of advice. And then it meant that when things haven't worked out, since I got that advice, you feel less bad about it, because it's just part and parcel of it.
So if your expectations were too high, then it was easier for you to get annoyed.
It's like you're setting the relationship up for failure,
yeah,
because your standards are sky high for them to deliver what you as a founder or a business owner think it should be, and then that just doesn't transpire.
As one thing you have to remember too, as a business owner, like, no one cares as much as you do, because it's not theirs.
And I think that's where that sort of bit of advice comes from.
Yeah.
Is that nobody does care as much as you do.
And as like you said earlier about hiring, like you talked about, you're expanding your team. But if you can replace you with someone who's going to do it 80%,
Yeah.
it's better than you only giving 20% at 100%, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because you can't give 100% of that one task.
Exactly.
So you're
it's spread too thin, and
Yeah.
it's better to replace with 80%, 80% of the job.
I think lowering your expectations is definitely a good bit of advice, because it takes a sting out of, or like you said,
Yeah.
it's a set, like you said, set it up for failure.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Yeah, I suppose it's just like it's being realistic about things, you know, and not thinking every single person that comes in or every single agency or whatever it may be is going to set the world alight. Because if it was that easy, you know, we'd all be laughing, but it's not the case.
No, definitely not. What do you might give the same answer for this actually. What separates people who make it from those who don't, do you think?
I'll go back to Hermosi again, because he's the goat.
He's a wealth of knowledge, isn't he?
It's unbelievable. Like, I don't know how, and like is he in his early 30s?
Yeah, he probably is. He probably is actually. I'd say he's probably early mid-30s. But like, you ever heard him talking about the amount of content he produces?
Oh, it's like just
like he produces more a day than he produces a year.
But so yeah, like that's where I'm kind of going with you know, what separates people, you know, who make it and don't is, and it's another Hermosi quote, is like, you know, the people that make it, you know, spend an extraordinary amount of time doing ordinary things, and that's the difference. So it's just consistency and continuing to push every single day, and not having the expectation that, you know, good things are going to happen overnight or in a short period of time. It's, you know, it's years and years and years in the making. If business was easy, everybody would do it, and it's not. Like, there's not a single day that I wake up and say, you know, I've made it, or I know everything, or anything like that. In fact, it's a complete opposite. I wake up every single day and, you know, feel like I know nothing, and feel like I'm you know, unorganized and all these different things. So just continuing to push and push and push and push, and just being consistent with the things that need to get done, until hopefully at some stage, you know, you'll be satisfied.
I had a philosopher on last week.
Yeah.
And he talked about like uncertainty and unknown things. And it was kind of like a really beautiful way to put it. It's like the point of life and the beauty of life is in the unknown, because if we ever know it all, then what's the point of going on?
Yeah.
Or what's the, you know, once you reach that point, once you reach the point of knowing everything, there's nothing else.
Yeah.
So it's the beauty of being a business.
Good way. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like the beauty is in the unknown and the uncertain.
And it's learning to enjoy the process and the journey, you know,
like,
instead of always the result.
Like I've worked in factories, and I knew what I was going into every single day. There was no unknown. I was going to do the same task every single day, and it was monotonous and it was dull and boring. Business, it could be a shit show some days, but I didn't know it was going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
until I get in there.
Yeah.
Other days can be amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was going to be amazing, but every day is different, a different emotion.
That's exactly why I got out of finance, because it's the same, crunching the same numbers every day, and it was just monotonous, and it just didn't feel challenged whatsoever. And I think, like, for me, it's, you know, in terms of what makes me tick is that feeling of being challenged. And you know, no 2 days are really the same. There's always the boring bits, of course, that just comes with it and has to be done. But
it's unfortunately the boring stuff matters.
Yeah. And that's where it comes down to doing those ordinary tasks that you don't want to do, just repeatedly.
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference maker. It's the people that stick at it, and, you know, when the going gets tough, those that stick at it are the ones who make it. It's not, you know, because somebody's incredibly intelligent or, you know, anything like that, or somebody's incredibly talented, and, you know, it's just pure consistency, hard work, discipline.
Yeah, and taking the leap of faith too.
Yeah. I think just you know, removing that fear of failure is, you know, if you don't take that leap of faith,
no,
you're never going to do anything.
Sometimes I wish I could be satisfied with a employed job.
Take the stress off, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because like sometimes like I hear friends and stuff be like, "Oh, my pay's coming in tomorrow." And I'm like, it's like, you know what you're getting tomorrow, and you know you get the next month.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about that, and I don't think everybody, like, you know, I have mates who definitely have no interest in becoming an entrepreneur, getting into business, and like, I definitely envy that a bit as well.
There's a fair enough, like, you can have a lot more ups with like being a business owner, but it swings like, and they're
Yeah.
so sometimes they're heavy swings.
Yeah.
And but sometimes I do wish I could just be satisfied with going and getting the job, because it would be a simpler life for me.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Weekends off and your mind shuts down once you get home from work at 5 and all
Yeah.
those sort of things that never happen as a business owner. Constantly putting out fires.
Always, you are the firefighter, aren't you? Right, closing question. What's next for Tommy French Competitions? Where do you want the business to be in 5 or 10 years?
I think there's there's no kind of grand plan answer to that question, but it's continuous growth. Like a big thing that I definitely want to focus on in the shorter term, probably the next couple of years, is breaking in more down south. I think there's massive opportunity for us there. And I'd love to get, there's some great competition sites out there that are doing massive prizes, a lot bigger than we're doing. And like Prize Guys doing £1 million prizes and stuff like that. Like being able to someday maybe do something like that would be a massive achievement, I think.
I'd make a millionaire.
Yeah. So maybe something like that. But it's just continuous kind of steady growth, and continuing to enjoy it, continuing to make people happy in terms of the reactions that we get, all those sort of things are generally where I see it going over the next number of years.
I like it. You'll look back on your deathbed and be like, I made somebody a millionaire, but you look back on your deathbed and be like, all that phone calls I made. All
the phone calls. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fun. So just continuing to do that. I wouldn't say like there's a sort of grand, plan, or because we can't break into new markets, UK and Ireland, and that's it. So, but there's so much room for us to grow.
Can you not break into new markets?
No. Like there are some that you potentially could, but UK and Ireland is just set up for a good place for the competition sites to operate. Right. Some of the legislation in different countries doesn't allow for it. So but again, it's we're tiny compared to some other firms out there, and there's so many more avenues and so many more prizes we can give away. And
you're also massive to a lot of other ones.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like, I'm aware of that too.
I wouldn't have put yourself.
Yeah, I'm aware of that too, but I'm definitely aware of the potential that there is for growth. So just keeping the thing moving, building a better team, all those things that are going to fuel the business for the next few years.
Good stuff. And last question: can I come down and drive the cars?
Yeah, 100%.
There we go. I was worried that question might need cut, but 100%.
You can come down and get a rally in the M4.
Video 100%. Evidence.
I'll bring you out here now, and I'll bring you for a scare.
No problem. No problem at all. Tommy, thanks so much for coming on. I hope you've enjoyed it.
No, it's been great.
First podcast, by the way.
First podcast.
We talked about it off camera.
Yeah.
Didn't mention it on camera. So
debut. I'll be cringing here when I'm watching myself back. But
you'll be grand. You'll be grand though.
Yeah. No, enjoyed it. No, good conversation.
Good conversation, and I'm glad I got you down. I learned a lot about the industry and stuff, and I hope to wish you all the best in the future. And
appreciate it.
All the success, and
I
also hope that car out there is mine. I don't want anybody bitching if it is.
Right. Cheers, Martin. Thanks.